welcome back to Crime and Sports.
Yay!
Oh, yay, indeed. My name is James Pietragallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I am Jimmie Whisman.
Wow, we're pumped. This is
What's
exciting.
not to be pumped about?
I'm so excited about everything.
We're fucking flying high today.
This is great. This is our first episode back from South by Southwest,
So
which was
much
great.
fun.
We had a blast there. It was really fun. Thank you so much to South by Southwest and TuneIn and Kayla for being so nice to us from TuneIn
and
everything.
Of course, fucking Rachel and fucking Zach.
Rachel and Zach
The
come in
two of
4
them,
hours and they came
drove
to see us.
4 hours from Dallas
Thank
to come
you
to
guys.
Austin.
That was awesome.
Without any guarantee that they were going to be able to get in to see the taping.
Yeah, because
they had no
expensive,
idea whether or not they were getting in.
We got them in, but thank you guys so much because otherwise, it's a festival audience that we only had a couple weeks notice, so it wasn't our crowd. There were people who didn't know who we are or what we do at all. So they were looking at us like we had 5 heads for about the first 5 minutes, and then we made them our audience. After a while, they were like, "I get what they're doing here. This is good." All right. So we had a really good time. We mixed some visuals in with the whole deal.
Yeah.
We're going to probably release that episode because we recorded it, the live episode. Probably going to release it maybe as like a Patreon thing or something like that.
I love it.
Something like that because it's only an hour long. We don't want it to be like a regular episode.
Right.
So anything like that. But it was so much fun. We had a blast at South by Southwest. It was wild. A couple things to go over. First, I want to thank everyone for their iTunes reviews this week. Please get on there. Give us those iTunes reviews. I have to say, our other show, Small Town Murder, which you should be listening to if you're not, our other show, Small Town Murder, this week passed Crime and Sports in iTunes reviews.
Right.
Which is insane because it's
crazy.
like, way newer.
It's 11 weeks old.
Yeah, it's 11 weeks old. So Crime and Sports guys, come on, match those Small Town Murder people. Let's get it together. Let's do it. Beat them. Hope you enjoyed Vernon Maxwell last week. I don't think anybody could not enjoy that pile of crazy.
I enjoy hearing the story. I don't enjoy him anymore.
No, I
don't
know.
enjoy him at all.
No, I would enjoy hearing him if he's put away or something sedated, maybe. It would be a good thing, something like that.
Being treated somewhere?
Absolutely, being treated somewhere.
That would be nice.
We've got a couple things. Also, too, one other thing I want to talk about. We have to do a little plug here. We never plug at the top of the show, but both of us, the Crime and Sports boys, are going to be opening for Dan Cummins here in Phoenix. Is it April 6th and 7th?
It is.
And it's at
the Tempe Improv.
Tempe Improv. That's right. I don't even know where I'm going. Tempe Improv. Come down
Friday,
there. 2
shows. Thursday, 1 show. It's going to be fucking great.
It's going to be great. Dan's hilarious. He's got a great podcast, too. Time Suck, if you want to check that out.
Fun.
You should check that out. And but dude, come see us out there. Come see us. I'm sure we'll have some kind of list or something if you can get a hold of us.
And there's
if
a
not,
surprise coming, too. We'll tell you about that later.
Yeah, we'll tell you all about that. That's true. But one other thing, too, that I have to talk about, because it was the highlight.
Yeah.
And we're getting to crime in 1 second here, but the highlight of our trip to South by Southwest was the sign. We're driving through a small town in Texas. We took
hilarious.
We took a shortcut, basically.
Because the road, it guided us to either San Antonio and then you go up north to Austin. That's it's like
we went on
2.5, 3 hours.
We went on the B road, right?
We took the B route.
So on this B route, you see it's a lot of farms and ranches and vineyards.
Fucking wineries like crazy.
But the sign that caught our eye the most, which is probably the funniest thing I ever saw, was for a sign for a guy. It's right on his lawn and it says Bobby Colorado. Animal trainer. So Bobby fascinated.
Dog Academy.
I'm fascinated with Bobby Colorado and his Dog Academy. That is amazing.
It's hilarious. It has
it's
to
a
be.
guy. He's like, I'm from East Texas. Don't worry about it.
Don't worry
no
about
such thing as the mafia. What are you talking about?
The mafia don't exist.
I'm from Oklahoma.
He's such a...
From Norman, Oklahoma. What are you talking about? I've been here my whole life. I moved to Texas to train some animals. What do you want from me?
Your dog got a problem, I'll fix him.
Oh, it's amazing, man. So the trip was great.
Witness protection program for sure.
Big time.
100%.
So, I don't know if we can get sued for that. So allegedly he's in the witness protection program.
Gotta be.
He's a real guy. But if you're in Texas and you need your animal trained,
go to Bobby Colorado.
I'd say no better guy than Bobby Colorado to get that done.
Fix it right up.
That's a free plug for you, Bobby Colorado.
You gotta go find that fucking dog.
That's a trade. That's a trade for, disparaging you, probably, just out of the nothing.
For just laughing at you.
For knowing nothing about you and saying that you were probably in an organized crime, crime protection program.
Awesome.
So our criminal tonight, our athlete tonight, our everything tonight is an interesting fellow guy. I'm telling you right now. It's a man named, are you ready for the name?
Yes.
Harrison Norris, Junior.
Oh, boy.
It's a junior, guys, so you know it's a doozy. If you don't know, if you're new to crime and sports, there is an inordinate amount of men that we have covered named Junior.
It's bananas.
It's wild. It's literally probably 25% of our athletes are juniors.
It's crazy.
Which is just, and if they're not a junior, they'll name their kid Junior.
Yeah.
Like if there's a junior.
Oh, it's coming.
There's a junior in 90% of our stories. Like they're either narcissists and have to name their own kid, or they're a junior or something. But a junior, bad sign. You see anything junior, go, oh boy, I'm going to watch out for him.
You bet.
It will be someday. Yeah. Keep an eye on him. He's born in 1966 in Kennesaw, Tennessee.
Okay.
So he's a Southern guy. He is a wrestler.
Oh.
And if you don't know anything about wrestling, who gives a shit? Because he's a criminal and a complete asshole, so it doesn't matter. You don't have to know a goddamn thing about it. We'll talk about it and make fun of everything involved in everything here. Don't know much about his childhood, honestly. It was really hard to find any. Plenty about his adulthood. Let me tell you something. No, plenty about the shit that he did, but not the past so much.
Okay.
All I know is he went to a Catholic high school in Pensacola, Florida, and he joined the Army at age 19 in 1985. That's about as early as we go back with him.
Okay.
So he joins the Army. He serves in the Army for 10 years. He's a sergeant.
He didn't even just go with Thor and get out. No. He really cared.
No, he's a sergeant.
He's a fucking hero.
He was in the... Let's not go crazy, Jimmy.
Well, I mean, at this point in his life...
I don't give a fuck what he did to help the country. He is not a hero at all. This guy's a piece of garbage.
Hilarious.
I don't care what you do. I don't care who you save. I don't care if you knocked a nuclear weapon away into the orbit. If you do what this guy did, you're still an asshole. You're not a hero. You're a douchebag. Even though he served in the Gulf War.
Yeah.
And the first Gulf War, the good one, the one that worked.
Yeah.
He served there.
The one that nobody died.
The one, he served in that one, the one that didn't drag on for 15 years. So, even still an asshole, though. He's, by all accounts, does a fine job in the Army. Like I said, he makes sergeant. He well respected, it seems like. Didn't have any problems. No major disciplinary issues. He gets an honorable discharge in 1995.
Okay.
So he's honorable discharge. He's out there. This guy is jacked, too, I got to tell you. He is big. His nickname is Hardbody Harrison.
Oh, God.
You don't know him as Harrison Norris Jr. He is always Hardbody Harrison. Okay. Everybody calls him Hardbody. Hardbody's his name.
Is that what he went by in the
That's what he went by in wrestling.
Okay.
Hardbody Harrison.
Hardbody Harrison. Did he only wear trunks?
Well,
and like knee pads and tall boots.
We'll get to what he looked like. He's a crazy looking guy. But he's about 5'11".
Okay.
And just jacked.
Blonde.
Well, he's a black guy, but he had dyed blonde hair for a while. Then he had cornrows that were dyed blonde, just the row parts, and he dressed crazy. We'll talk about all that stuff. But he gets out of the Army. He's athletic. He's jacked up. He's muscular. He's ready to do something.
And they've already got a Sergeant Slaughter, so what the fuck?
So what do you do? Yeah, exactly. They got the Corporal Kirshner didn't work. That's a really old-time wrestling reference there for you.
Nice job.
So, all that's going down. So what do you do at this point? You try out for the NFL.
You bet.
I don't even know if he played high school. I know he didn't play college. The Army doesn't, he didn't play for
big as fuck.
Army football team. So I don't know what he's thinking here. I mean, you can't come on. I have all the respect in the world for guys in the Army, especially who served in combat, all that sort of thing. All the respect in the world, but pushing Iraqis out of Kuwait does not prepare you to run the button hook on a professional level. It just doesn't. I'm sorry. That don't go together.
Right.
Not at all. It just doesn't work for that. So he begins competing in tough man contests at this point, too. And this is going to be kind of his calling card for a while. Okay. He's a tough son of a bitch, this guy. He does that. He also doesn't make the NFL. Big shocker. You're surprised. It's so funny. I think he was just like, I'm pretty muscular. I'm athletic.
Do everything that they do.
I'll just go play in the NFL. Like it's no problem to do.
That's what we all do when we're this big.
Like it's the 50s. And you can just be like, he's pretty athletic. Sign him up. Like, no. There's a whole program they go through. They do scouting and combines and drafts. It's the whole organized thing they got going on there. So he tries out for wrestling instead. He goes to WCW, World Championship Wrestling. We'll talk about them for a second. And they have a training center called the Power Plant. Okay. And he becomes kind of a fixture there. Tries out for wrestling. He's in there. Now, WCW, best way, got to give you backstory on the company here. It's a company of just utter disaster for the most part. They're what the NWA was. The NWA was like the big governing body of wrestling besides the WWF. They were kind of by themselves, and there was the AWA in Minnesota, and the rest of the country was all the NWA. So that was all the old champions.
I wasn't in wrestling back then, into. Obviously, I was never in wrestling.
I'm talking about 50s and 60s and 70s.
But I was never into it then. So, and on my generation, NWA doesn't mean that.
No, different. And
NWA is Ice Cube.
And they got
NWA is Eazy-E.
It's funny, the NWA NWA was just about dead right when they came out, too. So they might have killed the NWA. Because this company, come the late 80s, in 1988, they sold this was Jim Crockett Promotions, was a North Carolina promotion. Okay. They were kind of the heart of the NWA. They sold their business to Ted Turner and became WCW, and it was on TBS and all that, which was on TBS before that, but then it was WCW rather than the little regional thing. Now it was a national thing and owned by a major conglomerate. I mean, Turner Broadcasting
got a
owned
shitload of money.
So yeah, Ted Turner always liked wrestling. When Ted Turner started out his station, WTBS, the superstation, when he started that out, wrestling was always his bedrock. That was the thing that got him ratings, that it was always on, and he always made the statement, wrestling will always be on this network. Because in the beginning, that's what saved my ass, and that's what kept me afloat.
That's my bread and butter.
And he's very loyal.
I'm running with that.
Yeah, he's a crazy guy, and he's loyal and shit like that, so he does that sort of thing. The WCW was kind of a disaster, basically. Wrestling is one of those things that it's not like a football team where you need like a general manager and this guy and a bunch of different people in charge. Wrestling needs one dude that says, this is what we're doing, and we're going there. Like Vince McMahon in the WWE.
I'll write the script, you guys do it.
He's the final word, period. It's his vision. If he wants to see Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant fight at WrestleMania, that's who's fighting at WrestleMania. There's no discussion. There's no, I don't know, talk me out of it. That's what's happening, period. So that's kind of the deal here. They never had that. They have a corporate structure. So basically, people play politics, they get fired, this one gets hired, they get sued all the time because it's a company and they'll settle. They had a big problem in the early 90s, about 1991. Their president at the time, or vice president, Bill Watts, who was an old wrestler, Cowboy Bill Watts, and he also ran a wrestling organization back in the day before it folded. He's like a real rough and tumble kind of old school guy, and he's not corporate at all. And they put him in charge, and he's got a corporate office.
Guy with CTE is running the shit.
Well, he
it's
made
like Junior Seau as the fucking commish of the NFL.
Yeah, he ended up pissing off of his balcony to get fired on purpose. That was his plan.
That is baller.
He wanted to get fired too, so he'd get his contract and get to leave.
Did he at least hit somebody?
I have no idea, but he just wanted it. That was a no-no, apparently, to piss off the corporate tower at CNN Center. I don't think you're allowed to do that.
That's awesome.
This is CNN Center. He's pissing out of the window. That's not a great thing. So he had a problem, though. He is a guy.
I picture him in like a cowboy, like
what he wore,
and he still wore the wrestling fucking trunks.
You picture him just in his trunks.
He dropped down
pulling his trunk aside and just letting it fucking fly. There you go, pal. That's amazing.
Oh, that's so great.
Letting it fly. Not even like just putting his hands on his hips too, and just like yep.
No handed. That's right, boys.
And he groaned. He went, and it came out. Yeah. So
Jesus.
Bill Watts had a problem, and this will come up later on with WCW. So I'm not telling you this just to give you some bullshit. This will come up in the story. Trust me. He had a problem with Hank Aaron. He pissed Hank Aaron off, which WCW is based out of Atlanta. You do not piss Hank Aaron off. Hank Aaron is the hero of Atlanta.
Hank Aaron, happy you didn't piss on him, apparently.
Yeah, Hank Aaron could kill him. Like OJ thing, Hank Aaron could kill his wife in the street, and they go, oh, he's Hank Aaron. It's okay. Like, give you a pack on him. They wouldn't even have the trial.
See how many home runs he had?
Yeah, they wouldn't even have a trial for show. They'd be like, hey, he's been a great guy for 50 years. You leave him the fuck alone. 60 years, goddammit. So anyway, he had a problem with Bill Watts is one of these guys who thinks he's smarter than everybody, and a reporter asked him, for some reason, years before this, and it came out later, a reporter asked him, there was a guy down in Georgia who didn't want black people in his restaurant. And they made him you can't not serve people for their color, basically. And they asked him about it, and he said, well, this is America, and I think if you want to exclude somebody based on their color, then you should be able to do that, and then everybody who wants to can boycott you, and you'll probably end up going out of business anyway.
I guess that's kind of right.
Kind of right, except probably there'll be a lot of things with just a bunch of white people, and a bunch of black people, and a bunch of everybody. Everyone will just hole up together, I think, at that point. But
it kind of creates a race war.
Yes. Not a popular thing with Hank Aaron. Hank Aaron, that pissed him off, because Hank Aaron lived through all of this shit. He got death threats for being black and hitting home runs. So, I mean, he was pissed off at this, and he said, I want that fucking guy fired, basically.
All right.
And if Hank Aaron, with the Braves play on TBS, if he says he wants you fired, you're in deep shit, basically. You're gone.
You may have fucked up.
So they were looking for a way to fire him, and he was looking for a way to get out, so hence the balcony situation. I think he also smoked a joint in his office or something, too. Like, he just was trying to get fired,
just figuring it out.
And just also
fucking blindly walking through it.
He was giving out contracts to people, too. He's like, hey, like guys he knew for a long time and liked him, be like, hey, sign this deal, because I'm not going to be here in 2 days. So get this shit signed and faxed and get it.
We're going to cost this company a fuckload of money
you're signed for 2 years because they did guaranteed contracts. So
Amazing.
that way you're on the books basically before I leave. But he also cut costs of the company and actually made it not hemorrhage money like it was hemorrhaging. It was doing very badly. Then early 90s, mid 90s, Eric Bischoff came in, who did the whole Monday Nitro thing, which was, I'm sure you guys remember, about 20 years ago, if you turned on television on a Monday night, there was 2 wrestling shows on for some reason. You're like, what the hell is going on here?
Right.
They both had 40,000 people in the stands, and it was crazy. It was bedlam. People were going nuts for wrestling, and it was Stone Cold Steve Austin, and it was Hulk Hogan and all that sort of thing. So anyway, this WCW is where Hulk Hogan went after. It's when Hulk Hogan became a bad guy in this. He became a heel. The NWO came up, which was him and Scott Hall and Kevin Nash.
Is that Hollywood Hogan?
Hollywood Hogan, exactly. Came out and he was just the same guy, but a dick now. It was great. That was a great character.
All of a sudden, he's an asshole. This is weird.
That was amazing. He just was the same guy, but he was like, screw you people. I don't need your shit anymore, which I thought was great. It was fantastic. But anyway, long story short, this company is just up and down in an array, in a mess. At one point, they were actually beating WWF. From about 96 through early 98, they were beating WWF in ratings on Monday nights. And the WWF was in trouble. Now WWE, obviously, but then WWF. They were in trouble. It was not great. But it turns out that they're fuck-ups, and they drove the company right into the ground. And that's right about where he comes in, Hardbody Harrison. He comes in 95, right before it's about to blow up and then really blow up and crash, before it's about to get big and then die, basically. He's a beast when he gets in here, physical beast. His cardio is unmatched. He can go for hours and hours and hours and not get tired, which in wrestling terms, these guys, that's impressive to them. They go, this guy can just go for days at a time.
That sounds fucking terrible.
It sounds terrible. But apparently he's in the best shape of anyone ever, and they were just all very impressed with that. And so he makes it, based on his look and his cardio alone, he gets in there, basically. Now, he's older than a lot of these guys coming in. A lot of these guys coming in are, younger guys, 23, 24. He's almost 30. So he's been in the Army for 10 years. He's been at war. These guys haven't. You know what I mean? Like, he's a lot more mature than these guys.
He's seen some shit.
Exactly. He kind of takes a leadership role, basically. He makes his debut in the ring that same year. Not great in the ring, guys. He had the goofiest look you ever want to see. His look was basically, when he first came in, he had one-legged tights. Half of them were short, and then the other half he had one leg on. Did you ever see this guy? He had one leg, and he had like a flat top fade. This was in 95. This was not cool. He was 5 years past this.
Right.
He had like a blonde.
5. It's much further than that. He should have been. This is like 1988 type of trends.
Yeah, watch the dunk contest from 90. There's a lot of flat tops in there. It's a D. Brown's got his thing going on.
That's right. He did. D. Brown.
You know what I mean? And then he had like shit stenciled into the back of his head too. Like
he did.
He had like a silhouette self-portrait in his head. Yeah, he's the most arrogant, narcissistic asshole in the history of the world.
I want you to see my face whether I'm walking towards you or away from you.
Yeah, you're going to see me, basically.
Wow.
Basically just total jobber, this guy. He got beat by everybody. He was the guy they'd send out there, and he looked goofy. Like, if you watch wrestling, obviously it's fucking fake, obviously. It's planned or whatever, but you can watch some of it.
There's a definition difference there between fake and real.
Planned
they're definitely doing it. That's for sure.
But I mean, they're
definitely acting it out.
They're definitely doing something in there. You're in there. You're doing something.
Right.
Now, basically, he was. The best way to describe him is he's the type of guy that if you turned on wrestling for 2 seconds and he was on, you'd go, "Oh, this looks so fake." Right. Like, he was the guy who go, "This looks like shit." Whereas, like, some of the guys it looked good. Some of the guys you'd be like, "God damn, that looked real."
Did he punch him for real?
That looked for real. Like, you'd see Ric Flair with his chops, and he's chopping you. That's it. There's no faking it.
No.
He's just hitting you, and you're taking it. That's the gag there. Right. Here's how we're gonna do this.
That's the gag.
I'm gonna hit you real hard, and then you act like it hurts. Okay? Sure, no problem. That's pretty easy. At that point, it's not really an art form. It's just kind of, I'm beating the shit out of you.
React to being hurt.
Yeah,
okay.
I think I can pull that off. Yeah, what the hell? So that's kind of what he does is, so he's not good in the ring. You just can tell. He's just awkward. He's athletic, but he looks goofy when he tries to sell. He tries to act like he got hurt. It looks goofy. His offense looks really goofy.
Makes stupid faces.
I hate that. It's just and it's not even like, it's just terrible. He just looks phony. He just looks as phony as it comes. It's not like Ric Flair, fucking Ronnie Garvin, 87, just pounding each other, going, "God damn, those guys are going to die in there." It's not like that. That's another deep cut wrestling reference. Sorry, guys. When I was a kid, I loved wrestling. So deep cut. That's a deep cut. That's 87 Starrcade shit right there. Let's not get crazy. So 97. We get to he has this match. I watch basically all his matches that are on YouTube, and they're all 5 minutes long. He never wins any of them. He always loses.
That's the other point about wrestling that I don't understand. When they always lose,
why
are you watching then? Just be like, oh, that guy's going to lose next match.
You know it. Right. Yeah, it's just it's a to show off the other guy, basically, to show off his skill. But what are you showing off against a guy who sucks? Who cares? If you're like, that guy's terrible, what does it matter if he beats him?
And also, too, a guy that loses and is good at losing, showing off how he's a good actor. Yeah. When that happens, it makes the other guy look so much better.
Which is what they're trying to do. Yeah. They're trying to make it look like he's just being destroyed. Right. But the point is, you would look like if you go out in the street, you could kick a 10-year-old girl in the chest and you'd go, holy shit, you blew her. But she's a 10-year-old girl. Like, she never wins. She's never going to beat you in a fight.
I blasted her in the sternum.
Jesus, I would expect psychopath. That. That's what I mean. So it's kind of like that. Like,
psychopath.
I've never seen this guy win. No, of course he's getting beat all over the goddamn place. 1997, I watched a match from, this is an interesting match. He wrestles a guy named Kevin Sullivan. Kevin Sullivan, it's more sports crime is going to tie into this guy. Kevin Sullivan is the ex-husband of Nancy Benoit, who was killed by Chris Benoit, who was the wife of Chris Benoit. He's the ex-husband of this. Benoit, Chris met Nancy when she was still married to Kevin because they were all in WCW. This was the time period this was all going on.
So it may be his fault.
It's possibly his fault. Well, it's funny, too.
If he would have treated her better, she'd still be alive.
There's a million conspiracy theories that Kevin Sullivan killed them. Like Kevin Sullivan had them killed because he's he's a real satanic dude. Yeah. Like that's his whole gimmick. And in real life, too, like he's known as kind of a satanic guy. Right. When you see an interview with him, he's just a fat guy from Boston. That's the funny thing about wrestling that I find hilarious.
I have a friend that's a fat guy from Boston, so that makes me smile.
both do, yeah. And this guy sounds exactly like that.
Really?
He comes out, his whole gimmick is I'm the devil, and he had during this period, he had
my God, I can see Jamie saying that.
He had the Dungeon of Doom, which is what it called, and he had a bunch of guys that looked like freaks. He had Kamala, who was this big giant guy, and all these weird oddities, basically, and he was like, I'm controlling all, but he had this Boston accent, so it was so ridiculous.
It's like Peter Griffin telling you,
I'm the devil. Yeah, he's like, I got all these guys here. It's going to be great. And you're like, you're not, the devil's not from Boston. No. I'm sorry. That's not great. I'm not buying that. No. You need to lose your accent. But he just had this, he was just this
hilarious
little stubby guy with giant thighs and a heavy Boston accent claiming to be Satan. Okay.
Oh, my God, I can see it so well.
Satan's from Worcester. That's what it is there. No, that's not.
It's going to be wicked crazy,
It's going to be wicked crazy. I'm going to kill him. His soul's going to go straight to hell. I'm telling you. Right there. Wicked straight.
And hell to them is New York, so it's like...
Unreal. Yeah, it is.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, because it's being... second best always.
Right.
That's
always.
right. Yeah, always. Take
Bastards.
that, fuckers. Anyway, so he wrestles this night. Hardbody Harrison wrestles Kevin Sullivan, which is Kevin Sullivan. Basically, after 2 minutes in the ring, he just takes him outside and just walks him around the arena. The bell rings. The match is over. Like, what the fuck is even going on here? Right. They're not even having a match. Basically, they take Hardbody Harrison out there. Kevin Sullivan's beating him up, and also his manager's beating him up, which is a jacked up black chick named Jacqueline.
Awesome. I remember her. Yeah.
Jacked up, badass looking chick. Like, I wouldn't fight her. No. She's tough looking, man. And they get her up. Jackie's on top, beating his ass, and they're beating him, and they end up throwing this. For some, WCW had the goofiest shit. Yeah. They had this ring set up with a big pool around it.
Like a moat.
Like a moat, but there was a walkway to the ring with over the pool, and it was basically we're gonna have our show be a pool party, which was the stupidest looking thing. But they end up
get hit with a fun noodle.
Pretty much, yeah. I'm saying this guy would pretend like it killed him. Oh my God, the fun noodle.
It hurts so bad.
It hurts, but they throw him in the pool, and it's a big deal because he takes a big water bump basically on there. That's a big huge deal. He's the guy that fell in the pool, right? Yeah, because they threw him in the pool. Big deal, right? They kick his ass pretty good, which is pretty goddamn funny. He basically, all of his matches are like this, except usually he actually gets beat. Kevin Sullivan plays a psycho guy, so to drag him out in the street or drag him outside and throw him in the pool, that fits his character. But most of the guys, they beat him, and it's all lower mid-tier guys too. Yeah. He's not even getting beat by Hulk Hogan. Yeesh. He's not getting beat by the Champ. He's not getting beat by Hulk Hogan. He's not getting beat by Macho Man and Sting and Lex Luger.
He's not even getting beat by Razor Ramon.
No. He's Scott Hall. He was there at the time. He's getting beat by Jim Powers.
Who?
Exactly. Jim Powers and Paul Roma from the 80s, you'd know him as. And somehow they let him beat some guys on WCW TV. Remember Rick Martel from the 80s? Rick Martel, he's a French-Canadian. He was
tough.
He was a great wrestler in the 80s, actually. He was really great, but this is like 97. Like, this is not great anymore.
It's Twilight.
It's Twilight time. He's getting beat by French-Canadian. 46-year-old French-Canadians are beating him. Kevin Sullivan. Even a guy named Sergeant Craig Pittman.
Oh, no.
Who was another one who's just like him, who loses every match. They had a jobber match at the end of one of these shows.
And he's probably the one that stole his sergeant title.
Yeah, right, exactly. He's like, shit, I can't be sergeant.
I can't do it now.
Sergeant Hardbody now. Damn it. He was going to be. That sounds like a stripper name, Sergeant Hardbody.
It does.
It really does.
That's a good one.
You know he's used that before.
If my career in podcasting or any other job that creates money for me goes away, that's me.
That's you.
I've got dibs. Sergeant Hardbody.
Sergeant Hardbody.
And it's an opposite. It's an opposite nickname.
You wear nothing but stripes.
I'm doughy as fuck. Yeah.
Nothing but stripes. Nothing but sergeant stripes, guys. That's it. Let's get them tattooed on you.
Perfect.
So, yeah, he's losing to these guys. Anyway, this Craig Pittman guy, who's another loser, actually beat him on TV in a match. Yeah. It's like, God, how low can you go? Yeah. You got Sergeant Craig Pittman beating you clean with a knee drop. It's terrible. Clean. No, like, it wasn't like he cheated, like the cheater have another guy interfere or some bullshit like that. Not even that.
No. He came off the top rope.
He's just much better than you. Yeah, that's it. The announcers didn't have anything to ever say about Harrison, which I thought was funny. Like,
what was that cool announcer's name, the bald guy with the mustache?
Bald guy with the mustache on which wrestling? Gorilla Monsoon, Jesse the Body Ventura.
No, it's the little guy.
Bobby Heenan, Gene Okerlund, Mean
Gene.
Yeah, he's more
that
of an
guy
interviewer.
Was awesome.
Yeah, he was.
I
Mean
loved
Gene
him.
was great.
Yeah.
Mean Gene always had the radio voice on.
Yeah. So not
I'm
mean,
standing
by
here
the way.
with somebody. He's like 5'3", for Christ's sake. There's some. He was actually in matches in the mid '80s.
Really?
There's a match with him and Hulk Hogan versus Mr. Fuji and somebody where he gets in and like beats up Mr. Fuji. For
Hilarious.
A second. Hilarious. From
you know
the
what?
80s.
I remember that because Mean Gene used to make appearances in the video games where he would come out too and beat people up while you're beating them up.
Yeah. So Mean Gene's hilarious. Yeah. But yeah, Mean Gene is there at this time too. WCW stole Hulk Hogan, Randy Savage, Mean Gene, Bobby Heenan, all these guys, all the face of the WWF from the '80s. They stole for the '90s.
So fun.
They were just like, it's the same thing, just 10 years later. But they would never know what to say about this guy, so they just go, you'd hear some silence. They talk about the other guy, and you hear some silence, and they go, boy, this Harrison's really put together, huh? Like, that's all I can say. Like, that body on him, he looks strong. Like, he looks like dog shit out there. He's completely uninteresting. Yeah. There's nothing else to say, but he's got muscles.
He's got a leg out.
Yeah, that's it. So behind the scenes, he's respected, but also considered an asshole, basically. He's a dick. This guy's just a dick in general. He's one of the bigger assholes we've had.
It's crazy how most wrestlers that I hate to say most wrestlers, but wrestlers tend to be dickheads.
Sometimes.
They are really fucking crazy.
They're either really cool or really an asshole, like an egotistical lunatic, or they're just like, hey, guys pretend to beat me up for a living. Like, I'm not they're cool.
And they live crazy fucking lives.
They live a lot of crazy lives. This guy lives a really crazy life more than most, I will say.
There's a lot of lists of bad fucking
ones.
Bad fucking people.
Arrested ones. Yeah, they're the more people get dead than arrested in wrestling. That seems like that's their like
after
the curse.
Career really sucks.
Yeah, if you look at a card from like '92, like look at just look up online Royal Rumble '92 or whatever.
All those guys have meth problems.
Look how many of those guys are dead.
Yeah,
it's
insane. That too. Yeah, they're either dead or they're on drugs.
It's wild. It's wild. A few of them have
branched
come
off
out the other side
else,
or saved their money and did something decent,
or they cleaned up and now they have like a great story to tell, and now they're touring comedy clubs telling stories.
Yeah, you got your Mick Foley's. Yeah, still has brain damage like a motherfucker though. He's a really funny guy, but I'm sure he's got brain damage. I've seen him get hit in the head with chairs. And Roddy Piper, right
before he died, he cleaned up his life and he was starting to get into something good, and then he died.
He was a good actor, Roddy Piper, I have to say. He was so funny on Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Holy shit.
What was the movie he was in?
They Live.
What is it?
Yeah, They Live and Hell Comes to Frogtown.
Jesus.
I know
that was way too fast.
Yeah, I was a huge Roddy Piper fan when I was a kid. He retired to make They Live for like a year.
Wow.
I'm like, fucking great. Now Roddy's gone. I was pissed. I was 9.
So fast.
I was 8. I was like, this is bullshit.
I
want
him,
Piper back.
Yeah.
I did too.
He was great.
He was great in Always Sunny in Philly. And that's to be an actor is one thing, but to be a comedic actor is another thing.
And to
completely.
be a comedic actor and be good in a cast that's saturated with like, they are so good.
They're all good.
And Roddy is still fucking added
funny.
to it.
Yeah, the maniac loves you. He was so funny. The maniac loves you. The best line in that is they ask him, so you have kids? And he goes, not anymore. And he just walks away. Like, what the fuck? Okay.
That's the greatest two-sentence line ever. That's awesome.
And he just like looks down to not anymore. Just walks away.
2-word sentence.
Amazing.
That's great.
So Hardbody's helping train new guys too in there because, like I said, he's respected, and also too, no one can keep up with his cardio, so he can kind of drive these guys into the ground, which is what they try to do.
Can outlast.
It's going to drive them off a little bit too and break them down. When they get new wrestlers in, their whole thing is make these guys quit. They have to be tough. They have to be able to, they have to be able to do run till they puke and then keep fucking running again.
And then we wonder why they die early.
Exactly, and have brain damage and everything else. He's only making $50,000 a year while he's in wrestling.
Oosh.
So I mean, to be on television and to take, punches and get hit all the time and land on your back, that's not a great salary. That's no health insurance.
Oh, God, you got to cover your own with that?
These guys are independent contractors.
After taxes? Holy shit.
These guys are independent contractors. So, I mean, they go out, let's say they travel to a show, they have to buy themselves food and shit on the road. So, I mean, they're not making anything, basically, after it all comes down to it. Their $50,000 is nothing for wrestling at all.
God.
Plus, they have to buy their tights, they have to buy your outfit, your ring shit, and that's all expensive to have. It's all has to be custom made and all that kind of shit.
Do they have to travel too and pay for travel?
They buy your plane tickets. WCW would buy your plane tickets.
So it's maybe a little bit better than being a low-level headliner in comedy.
Sort of, maybe. Yeah, it's about the same, basically.
It's
a jobber wrestler or a low-level, B club headliner.
Right.
It's a tough life. Either way, it's a tough life. A wrestler named C.W. Anderson said about him, quote, "I owe that guy a lot. He taught me a lot about actual ring work, how to sell and how to get in better shape." So he's saying this guy, helped him a lot in his career. So they respect him. He also has some bad shit to say about him later. But a wrestler named Alan Funk, not those Funks, not the Terry Dory, not those Funks, just some other guy named Alan Funk. He said, quote, "His mouth got him in a lot of trouble all the time. He was an awesome worker and always made his opponent look good, but he couldn't keep his mouth shut." And he wasn't an awesome worker at all. He was a shit worker. But
seems like me.
I was going to say, it's a little bit
sounds like a lot like a nudnik friend of yours. Everybody's got that friend.
Everybody's got that friend, but his is like aggressive, though. It's not just like,
not good.
He's like aggressive and says shit that doesn't belong, and he tries to intimidate people.
And
That's
goes
just
too
bottom
far.
line. He tries to be intimidating, and you can't really do that in a corporate setting.
No.
Wrestling is one thing, but that's where wrestling and corporate are tough. That's a tough mix.
Yeah.
Because, think about this is at this point, too, this is when Time Warner bought Turner. So they're owned by Time Warner. Time Warner's a biggest, giant multinational conglomerate.
Ugh.
And they got a bunch of fucking guys in their underwear pretending to beat the shit out of each other. That's not their business.
Day in and day out getting CTE.
No, they're and they're totally embarrassed by it, the corporation. They're like, this is a joke. We don't like this.
But it makes them money.
At the time, it was making money, and that's the thing. In 97, 98, it was extremely profitable, and so it's really hard to kick something off that's making $40 million in profit in a year. You can't say, we don't want that anymore. Yeah. But the second it stops making a profit, that's when shit turns
going
around.
Away.
And it's going to here soon.
We don't like it, but it bought me this amazing yacht, so fucking keep it on the air.
Keep it going. So he was also known to have a violent temper. Not shocking. I'm not shocked at all about this. Known as an agitator, known as a guy in wrestling that gets a lot of heat, basically. That's what they call just everyone's pissed off. You in comedy, basically. You'd be known as a heat seeker, basically. But you don't even try, actually.
No, I don't
so it's
mean
different.
to.
This guy's being a dick, but it's the same result. People are like, that fucking asshole.
I just say it like it is. That's all
You're fine.
Is.
You're fine. And nobody likes me either. It's all right. What the fuck do I care? You know who likes us?
Yeah.
Crime and Sports Movement, motherfuckers. So
lots of
that.
people that download this shit on Tuesday like us.
No problem. It's all good. So, like I said, known as an agitator, had a lot of what they call heat. Lash LaRue was a wrestler. A terrible name, Lash LaRue. You probably remember. Yeah, he was around for a while. He said, quote, this was a guy who was prone to committing professional suicide on a daily basis. Hardbody was known for being a heat seeker. Any situation you threw him in, he could find some way to turn it negative.
I like him.
That is not what you want to say. Professionally, I don't think that's what you want to be said of you.
I don't know. I kind of like guys like that.
Yeah, it's interesting.
If there's anything that's wrong in the business, whatever business you're in, and you're the problem guy, you're going to fucking point it out, and maybe that shit gets fixed later, you know?
No, that's true. But there's also...
But then again, it kind of fucks up every day-to-day situation, too.
Well, the problem is when it's not a negative situation, when it's a positive one, like in early 1998. A reporter from the Fox affiliate in Birmingham, a guy named J.J. Pruitt, comes to the power plant, the training center there, to do a story, basically a fluff piece. He's going to run around the ring a little bit and go, oh, Jesus, that's really hard, and these wrestlers have it tough. It was basically like 98 wrestling was the biggest thing in the world.
Right.
Literally, these guys, between both shows, they were each doing like over a 6 rating.
Wow.
At the same time.
But that's when The Rock is in. That's when The
Steve
Undertaker
Austin,
is huge.
Steve Austin.
Kane.
But still, you know how many people that is watching? You know what they get now?
Oh, fuck, nothing.
They get lower than a 3, and there's only one company. Yeah. So, I mean, that went from a 12 between the two of them to lower than a 3. So, I mean, it's gone. This is the peak. Nobody.
And that's I forget how the ratings work, but is that 12 million?
It's not quite. It's a different skewed. That's the rating point, but it's a shitload of million people.
It's a lot of fucking people.
It's a lot of people, more than have ever watched wrestling before, except maybe in the 50s when it was on, the Dumont network and there was nothing else on television. There was 2 other channels, but still. It's crazy. So this guy comes to do a fluff piece just so he can go back to his news thing and go, yeah, they bumped me around. It's pretty funny. It hurt, man. My back still hurts. Those guys are tough. And, that's what wrestling's like, housewives. Like, that's what the report was. It's to go on Fox News in Birmingham, Alabama in the morning. You know what I mean? Just whatever. So he comes there. Hardbody, not friendly at all to this guy.
Awesome.
You have wrestlers that it's kind of an old school mentality where if somebody from the outside comes in, you are going to make them think it's real, basically. That's old
your
thing.
job.
Do you remember the John Stossel, David Schultz incident?
No.
If you look it up on YouTube, because it's fantastic. It happened in about 85. John Stossel, who's still on the air. I think he's still on Fox, actually. Still on Fox News. He had a show. He might have been on 2020 back then. He was like one of their, guy goes out and does
some correspondent
piece, and it was on wrestling.
Oh, it was when he was trying to be a fucking anchor.
He was trying.
And he had to put in his bullshit work.
He was trying to be a tough guy. He was in the hallway. He's talking to a guy named Dr. D. David Schultz, who's a legit bad motherfucker, like a crazy son of a bitch. He's a bounty hunter now.
Oh God,
he's crazy too. Like he's a tough guy. You wouldn't want to mess with it. You'd see him and go, "I'm not fighting that guy." Jesus Christ, he's scary. Well, they said, okay, go interview that guy. Go interview David Schultz, is what the WWF told him.
Yeah.
So the first thing this guy asks him, he goes, is it fake? He goes,
what the fuck? Don't do that.
This is 85 before it was like, hey, it's fake, hey, whatever. This was like when they were still saying it was real. He goes, is it fake? And he goes, what do you think? And he goes, man, I think it's fake. I think it looks fake.
Oh, God.
So Dr. D. David Schultz, open hand, slaps him.
Holy shit.
Hard.
Oh, my God.
And this guy drops like his, like gravity did, like 100 times gravity happened immediately. He dropped. Boom. I mean, he hit the floor. And as he's getting back up, like he's just getting back up, and he smacks him again, and he falls right back down again. It's like, pop, bam, he's Jack in the Box, just going up and down. It's ridiculous. He ended up breaking his eardrum with the slap in the ear. And all he did was, it was hard, like for a human, but I mean, for wrestlers, he could have smacked the guy, they wouldn't have noticed. But a normal guy,
boxed his ear.
Who's
That's
not
amazing.
6'4", 230. He knocked the shit out of this guy. He just kept slapping him down. Yeah, come on, what? I thought it was fake. That's open-handed. That's open-handed, boy.
We're going to play whack-a-mole with you.
He's some crazy Southern guy. That's open-handed, boy. What are you doing? You need to get on up, man. That's open-handed.
It's not even a punch.
Is that fake? Is that fake? That's what he was saying.
How fake is it?
So anyway, Stossel ended up suing the WWF and winning hundreds of thousands of dollars for popping his eardrum. But that's the old school mentality. That was, he's going to come in here and say it's fake, and we're going to show him how real it was.
Beat his ass.
In 98, that was not the case. Jay Leno wrestled in 1998.
Did he really?
Jay Leno was in a pay-per-view for WCW. That's when they were really going downhill.
Why the fuck don't I remember that?
Well, they had a tag team match where they had Hogan and Carl Malone
versus
somebody in Dennis Rodman. Do you remember that? Well, this was the next month.
And Kevin Green, too, from the Panthers.
A while back before that.
And with Reggie White?
No. I don't know if Reggie White. He was like around, but he didn't actually wrestle a match.
I think it was Kevin Green versus Reggie White.
I didn't see that. I'm not sure. That's possible.
Who the fuck did Kevin Green fight?
Steve McMichael, I know he fought, from the old Bears guy, who was actually a full-time wrestler.
Okay.
But anyway, they had that match, and it was a huge success with Carl Malone and Dennis Rodman.
Carl Malone was a huge name in the NBA.
So was Dennis Rodman. This was when the Bulls were winning championships. This was when the Bulls and Jazz were in the finals together. Right. So this was a huge deal. And so they said, wow, celebrities, this really sells. Let's get somebody else in there. And somehow somebody picked out Jay Leno.
Wow.
And Jay Leno thought it was a great idea.
I know what happened. Somebody sat back at a table and said, what celebrity would you like to knock the fuck out of? And somebody said, Jay Leno. Yeah, absolutely.
Jay Leno liked the whole idea. And so Jay Leno did a thing where he made jokes about Hulk Hogan during his monologue, tried to act like they were real jokes, even though they were obviously jokes about Hulk Hogan, which is an odd thing to insert in a late night monologue. And then after a couple nights, Hulk Hogan came out in the audience and talked shit about him, and it was the stupidest thing ever. Anyway, there's a photo. If you look online, there's the video. That
sounds very Jay Leno.
But there's a photo of Jay Leno out there in a T-shirt, obviously, because he's not going to take his shirt off and wrestle. He's 60 years old at the time.
And doughy as fuck.
Doughy. Him having Hulk Hogan in an arm bar, basically, holding on to it, I'm doing it. Get the fuck out of here. This is stupid. That's the level of real we're dealing with now. So no one is pretending this is real in 1998. But Hardbody is pretending it's real. He's being a dick to poor J.J. Pruitt, the reporter. Okay, now Pruitt is in the ring, and they're doing basically a little session. He's showing him, they're going back and forth, bouncing off the ropes and shit. And it's him and Hardbody in there. And it's a typical, like I said, it's harder than it looks. During this session, Hardbody clotheslines this Pruitt guy real hard right in the face.
Oh, boy.
And he knows how to not clothesline a guy real hard in the face because that's kind of what he does for a living. So that's one of the first things you teach you is don't hurt the other guy. So don't bash him in the face with your fucking elbow.
Don't injure him.
Yeah. So anyway, he hits this guy and breaks his nose in two places, destroys it. I mean,
Holy
the guy years later is still having surgeries and has sleep apnea and everything else. Literally, 10 years later, he's still having surgeries to fix this shit.
He's got a CPAP from a fucking
this
clothesline.
Asshole, from Hardbody. So Pruitt said, quote, "The last thing I remember Hardbody saying after I've turned over and there's blood all over the place is, quote, you're getting blood all over the mat. Get up and go to the bathroom."
Holy shit.
He said, quote, "I don't think he felt bad about it." Well, no shit. I don't think so either.
Fuck.
Yeah, I hope not after what he does, because if he felt bad about that and not what he did later, he's a real fucking psychopath. But yeah, so that's the kind of guy we're dealing with as far as being a dick when you don't have to be a dick.
Okay.
He could have made that good for him.
Yeah.
And the business. That could have been they would have gone on, said it's a good thing. Maybe people in Alabama would have watched a little bit more. Maybe Hardbody Harrison would have got a couple more fans and maybe would have stuck around a little longer. But this just causes major strife in the company because obviously they, big wigs, PR people are talking. It's not great.
No.
Especially with a reporter. Hardbody's starting to have a real reputation around the locker room for accumulating and going everywhere with him, just a bunch of women following him around.
Okay.
Just a bunch of women all the time he's got with him.
He's got groupies at this point.
That's what it looks like. But they travel with him. They're in his car with him.
Right.
He brings them to the power plant, and they get out and stand there. It's the weirdest thing in the world, right? He'd bring them there. Jody Hamilton, who's a legendary trainer, and he kind of ran the power plant. He says, he said he asked him, quote, "What are you, pimping?" And he said he looked at me kind of funny and said, "Oh, no, I would never do anything like that." And that was the end of that conversation. He basically
what does that even mean?
Didn't want to know anymore. He's like, "What are you doing? Pimping these girls? Why you got all these girls around?"
Anytime somebody says that, that's not...
I would never do anything like that.
That means they're doing that.
That means I don't want to know anymore, basically.
Yeah.
And so in 1999, he's also in a Louis Theroux doc. He did a Wild Weekends or something where he went and it's a BBC thing where he went around and did a whole bunch of crazy jobs, basically. Sure. And, he still makes documentaries, this guy. It's the Louis Theroux guy, the British guy.
Yeah.
All sorts of crazy shit. But he visits the power plant, and luckily Hardbody doesn't break his nose or anything like that. But Hardbody's a prominent figure in the documentary because he's there all the time, and he's one of the trainers. So that's how you get some exposure there. Now, 1999, Hardbody's contract is not renewed. Late 1999.
So he's out.
He's out
fired.
From the reporter thing. That's why, basically, okay?
From clotheslining a fucking reporter.
From clotheslining a reporter. Now, through all this, keep in mind he has a wife named Audrey.
Okay.
And a harem of women.
That's why he doesn't want everybody to know about his extracurriculars.
And he has 3 kids also.
Oh my God, he's a father.
Not all by Audrey. Audrey, I think, has one of them. Now, the problem here is I cannot find these kids' name, but I guarantee you there is a Harrison Norris III. I guarantee it. This guy's the biggest.
Yeah.
Wait till we get all. This is the biggest fucking narcissist we've ever covered. There is no way he didn't name his firstborn son the third. No way in the world. So watch out for that kid down the line a little bit here.
He might be a little messed up.
He's a little messed up.
He might have a broken fucking septum or...
Yeah, probably. Yeah. He's got his sleep apnea like crazy. This kid can't sit there without snoring. Yeah. He snores while he's awake.
He snores standing up.
So, February 2000, things get real interesting here. Hardbody, along with a few others, sue WCW for racial discrimination.
What?
Okay, well, it's funny because it's both true and apt, and they're all full of shit at the same time. With wrestling, nothing is as it seems. They're all so full of shit and on the make and on the hustle all the time. This comes from carny shit. You know what I mean? These are like carnies scamming you to throw the ball and then not be able to knock the concrete milk jugs down. That's what we're dealing with. Or they bend the
shit out of the basketball rim and you can't see it from the front.
Yes, that's what I mean.
It's all just trickery.
That's what this is. That's what wrestling is. And they're always working is what they call it. They're always working. They're always trying to get over. That's the whole deal here. So they sue. There's another guy named Sonny Ono who's in this lawsuit. He's a Japanese manager kind of a guy.
Sure.
And they treat him like basically like me Chinese, me play joke, me put pee-pee in your Coke, basically is what they fucking treat him like. That's what they treat him like. Literally. Like it's that ridiculous. That's what it is, man. It's like you might as well have a big gong go off but that's his music is like that Asian music. Fuck. It's ridiculous, right? So,
he's a punchline for them.
He is. He's the only Asian there too, which is they have like a wrestler once in a blue, but it's mainly him. So it's interesting. So
why can't I stop?
Because it's ridiculous. Why would you? It's so stupid. It's the dumbest thing ever.
Okay, go.
It's so stupid.
Okay.
So anyway.
The pressure when I laugh, it hurts so much.
You look like you're gonna have a stroke over there. You're bright red, Jimmie. You're bright red from a 4th grade racial slur joke. That's amazing. Which is making me so much happier for some reason. No, it was not meant to be funny at all, by the way. I was saying how stupid it was. And I love that it made us both, we both can't get on track now.
Oh my God. In the reviews, people have said that my laugh is obviously fake. If they fucking knew me.
No.
Oh, my God.
Never say Jimmie's laugh is fake.
No.
I guarantee. I promise you it's not.
I can't fucking stop laughing.
I promise you it's not. I've spent a lot of time with this dude. It's not fake. He almost killed us in the car on the way to Austin 12 times just laughing. Off the road. Holy shit. Get back on the road. What are you doing? Holy fuck. Okay. Okay. Let's get back into shitty lawsuits here. All right. So, like I said, guys were being used badly anyway because they were just a disaster of a company that didn't know how to use anybody. They were just a fucking mess. So it didn't. I don't know if it was on purpose or what, but there's some evidence that it is.
I mean, I'm sure that there was some strategy to it, but at the same time, it was just misguided and misaimed.
Well, there's some things that were said that weren't quite right here that I'm going to have to say over the air, which I'm not real thrilled about. So anyway,
I can't wait. Is it worse than?
It's worse than Dotsick. Yeah, it's worse in this country, definitely. So one of the main culprits of this that everyone's accusing of racial bias is Terry Taylor. Terry Taylor's a wrestling executive for years, and he was in TNA and WCW and all this. Terry Taylor shouldn't be biased against anyone because he had the worst, stupidest wrestling gimmick in the world. He was the Red Rooster in the 80s. Remember the Red Rooster?
Yeah.
The worst thing ever. He literally had a red stripe down his head and moved his head like a rooster, like he was pecking something. So he should be just ashamed all the time.
Every day for the rest of his life.
I would prefer it. So, well, if he wasn't by the Red Rooster, he might be from this lawsuit. There's definitely racism here, as we're going to talk about. But the wrestlers also know a hustle when they see one.
Sure.
And this was a company that had just been taken over by AOL. So now it was AOL Time Warner, the merger.
Oh, shit.
They don't want negative publicity at all.
It's the biggest company in America.
They
probably
settle
in the world.
lawsuits. Because to them, you give somebody $1 million, whatever. That makes them go away. That's worse. That's $1 million worth of publicity just to shut them the fuck up, basically. So the wrestlers see this, and they see when people sue, the company settles.
Yeah.
So they're like, this is a work. I can work this situation to my advantage. So a wrestling editor here is a guy who really knows his wrestling shit. A guy named Brian Alvarez. He's the editor at Figure 4 Weekly.
Yeah.
It's a wrestling site. He said, quote, "There were tons of wrestlers who were used very poorly. I watched every single WCW show and would sit there and go, why aren't they using this person better? I never once thought that about Hardbody." So he's saying
that's how useless he is.
That's how worthless he is. Like, I never even said, like, yeah, that guy shouldn't even be on the fucking show.
Right.
Never mind anything else. So eventually a dozen wrestlers joined this suit, including a bunch of Hispanic guys, too, because they treated the Hispanic guys like
oh my God,
shit. They treated them so bad. The wrestlers are rep by an attorney named Carrie Ichter of Meadows, Ichter, and Trigg in the Atlanta area. Ichter says, quote, "Turner Broadcasting is responsible for the actions of WCW and should be held accountable." Some individuals are seeking up to $2 million.
Wow.
Now, this is all going
on.
For racism. Now, this is for their careers, they're saying. Now, this is all going on after Vince McMahon had bought WCW.
Okay.
So they're saying, like, we don't even own that anymore. Yeah. And they're going, yeah, but you owned it then, so you own the whole whatever. So
you own the situation.
Basically, yeah, you own the situation. But Time Warner was trying to get out of it going, I don't know, talk to WWF. They're going, no. They weren't even involved in this.
Okay.
So whatever. Plus, they want money out of Time Warner because they'll settle.
They're
Vince McMahon will fight him. So
Vince McMahon will fight him in the fucking street. Forget
the thing.
Forget course.
This wrestling is extremely racist, okay? And it
that's
always is.
Just the way it is. Yeah.
It always is. I'm going to give you some rules of wrestling racism that I've compiled over the years, all right? Number 1, Asians will never speak clear English, ever. Chinese people came here in the 1860s. Yeah. Doesn't matter. Not one of them, not one person with slightly slanted eyes can speak fucking English at all, okay? Also, too, they must be sneaky in some way.
Always.
They have to be sneaky.
And they're the bad guy.
They have to sneak in there. And also, too, whenever they sneak attack someone, they always used to call, I remember Gorilla Monsoon saying it 100 times, Pearl Harbor job, there you go. They would literally say that if someone snuck up on someone, Pearl Harbor job, look at that. Like, they used it as a verb. He Pearl Harbored him right there pretty good. You're like, Pearl Harbored him? Jesus Christ. I remember as a kid going, Pearl Harbor.
Did a bunch of sailors just die from that move? Jesus.
Also, too, black people have hard heads. That's if you headbutt a black man in a wrestling ring, you will be hurt.
Yeah.
And he'll look at you and shake his head going, nah, motherfucker, that's how it works. Only one exception to that rule, Samoans.
Okay.
A black and a Samoan have equal head strength.
Jesus.
They will not affect each other. If one headbutts each other, this is the spot they'll do. You can watch it because it happens every time. If a black guy headbutts a Samoan, if a black guy headbutts a Samoan, they'll both stop and look at each other like nothing happened. We're equally hard-headed. It's
like
every
hitting
time.
2 hammers together.
As a child, it is. As a child, the junkyard dog never got hurt from a headbutt.
Never.
You'd headbutt him and you'd fall down and whatever, and then he'd come and headbutt you a little bit and bark at you and shit. That's what it does. It's amazing. So
this is awesome.
Samoans they're equal. Also, too, any islander is a Samoan.
Yeah.
Fijian, Tongan, Hawaiian. You're a fucking Samoan, asshole. Put some flowery trunks on, take your shoes off, and get the fuck out there and headbutt that black guy and don't sell it. That's how it works. Now, also, Samoans never speak English, and they rarely even know where they are. Literally, they're led to the ring like dogs and put in there, and they're usually making noises, and they have big eyes, and they're savages. I remember they used to show in the 80s a guy would be ripping apart raw chicken and eating it, going, rah, rah, and you're like, what?
Why?
He can be from an island and be like, I am from an island. No, but he's not. He doesn't even know where he is.
I shop in a grocery store.
Doesn't even know where he is, basically. So
when I have a barbecue grill, I make chicken.
So that's what we're dealing with. That's what wrestling is like. It's just that's their basic. That's just the basics. They're racist on a level they don't even think about, and then they're racist on a different level, too. A guy named Bobby Hard Work Walker, who was another terrible fucking jobber, he said, oh, God, we never had a chance in WCW. We had to take whatever they gave us. Now, he, in his deposition, because I read this entire lawsuit. Oh, boy, yes, I did, God damn it. In his deposition, he goes over other guys that made more money than him, and he said, I'm a better athlete than them, and I can make more money. I should be as good as them. But they were guys that Ric Flair.
Jesus.
It's like, you're not as good as Ric Flair or as famous as Ric Flair. If you put Ric Flair on, they sell tickets. If you put Hard Work Walker on there, nobody gives a shit. They're hoping Ric Flair beats you in 5 seconds.
I'll hire you to do my plumbing, though, Hard Work. That sounds like a guy that knows his fucking job.
Yeah, that's just not, in entertainment, a draw is something different.
Right.
A draw is a different story. It doesn't matter how talented you are. A draw is a draw. Fucking Larry the Cable Guy makes a lot of money.
I was just about to related to comedy.
There are decide him or Jeff Dunham, but
so many YouTube stars pack comedy clubs.
That's what I'm saying.
And it doesn't necessarily mean they're talented.
No,
it just means those people like what they do.
Go watch Greg Fitzsimmons out there, and you'll go, Jesus Christ, this guy's amazing. But people don't know who he is. So that's what I mean.
And he's got Emmys. What the fuck?
And he's got Emmys for writing. Go watch a Greg Fitzsimmons special.
God damn it.
By the way, get on Netflix, watch a Greg Fitzsimmons special because he's hilarious. And his podcast's funny, too.
Anyway,
Fitz Dog Radio.
Go on.
He was great. He's been great to me, too. He's a great guy. So anyway, basically, allegations include Several of the Mexican wrestlers were fired for what they deemed was no good reason. These guys were Ciclope, Pietragallo, and Damien. An internal email from a WCW lawyer that I saw is amazing. It says, quote, "Which Mexicans have we released by already sending letters?"
Holy shit.
Which Mexicans are we firing? That's a lawyer wrote that.
Oh, my God.
That wasn't some dipshit wrestling guy who was like, "Hey, which Mexicans we firing?" This was a lawyer. Like, you went to law school.
The guy took the bar exam to write that email.
To write that one. My God.
That's incredible.
This is not as incredible as this. They would mail all the Mexican schedules and paychecks to one place.
What?
They'd mail them all to one place.
Like to Home Depot or something?
Like the park. Yeah. One of them had a cousin out there, and they were like, just collect
Put
him.
it at the day labor place.
That's pretty much it. So
they all show up there. And what a fucking terrible thing to do to people.
It's ridiculous. And they said, because the mail, it was tough to get shit to him in Mexico, is basically what they said. It was just difficult, so we didn't bother
Find
with
an address. It'll show up, you dicks.
The problem is a few of these guys, didn't live in Mexico, and some of them weren't born there. Right. One guy was from Texas. He's like, "I'm from Texas. Just send me my fucking check."
We drove through Texas.
The U.S. Post Office. Well, one guy's from Atlanta.
Yeah.
He's like, "I'm from Atlanta. I was born here. What are you talking about?"
Yeah, my name's Che Guevara, but I'm from Atlanta.
They mailed his check to Mexico, though.
Holy
just
shit.
over there.
Go over there and find it.
It's ridiculous, man. It's unreal. So Sonny Ono, the Japanese man I told you about, he complained of constant Asian mocking, basically. It was just constant. And he's
it was just shitty Yoko Ono jokes. It was
like
terrible.
Well, I'll tell you what the joke was, because I saw a copy of this, a photocopy of it. It's one of the big things was a Chinese menu. It was like a stupid, hacky joke Chinese menu with, they put it up on the bulletin board in the locker room, and it had like stupid shit like cum drop soup,
God,
come too soon, a lot of cum jokes.
Right.
Who flung poo was one of them, which I knew you would laugh at. I said Jimmy's going to laugh at who flung poo. I'm saving that for last. I knew it.
There wasn't on the beverage menu. Like, there wasn't Pico.
No, well, there should be. Man, that'd be amazing. Pico. Coke with P. So I was like, I'll do the two cum ones first. You'll let those pass.
That's
but
awful.
Who flung poo? You're going to fucking laugh at. I know you. And it's HOO. Who flung poo? WCW guy, they all claim it was a joke. They're like, we were just joking around. It's a locker room.
It's a professional atmosphere. You can't just do that, though.
It's a major corporate international conglomerate.
They said it's locker room talk?
That's pretty much what they said. Yeah, they were like, hey, come on, it's a locker room. We joke around. They said Sonny Ono was laughing at it. Well, yeah, there's 50 guys around laughing. What's he supposed to say? Fuck you guys, and then nobody likes him anymore?
And 50 people kick the shit out of him.
That's what I mean. Or he's ostracized as a pro. He's got to travel with these guys. He's got to be with these guys 300 days a year. He's still got a
goddamn job he's got to do.
So he would laugh it off, obviously. Yeah. Or the other thing is, he didn't give a shit really, but then said, I can get $1 million, and then sued. So either way, hey, you know what? You shouldn't have left yourself open to get it sued for $1 million.
Who flung
so
poo's
fucking
gonna
stupid.
Make so much money.
Exactly. It's unbelievable. That's not even as bad as this.
Yeah.
This is amazing. This is how amazing wrestling is and how retarded it is, basically. And I did say retarded because it's fucking retarded. Like, sometimes they're so stupid. I would say IQ under 70, which is the fucking medical term for that. Now, Stevie Ray. You remember Stevie Ray and Booker T, Harlem Heat?
Yes.
Two big jacked black guys that looked like they'd fuck your shit up. Those guys, they got a big push there, but Booker T ended up he was the real big famous one. He ended up wrestling in WWE. I think he's still around.
He probably is.
He's still like a big star.
He's not dead.
He's not dead. He made a lot of money. I think he did well. He actually robbed a fast food place before he got into wrestling and went to prison for a bunch of years. I was so mad he didn't do more because we could have done an episode on it, but we can't. Anyway, Stevie Ray and Booker T were a tag team called Harlem Heat. Yeah. There were a couple of big
Stevie Ray, did he have zebra pants?
No. They both had the red, like, with flames on it for the most part. Harlem Heat outfits.
I mean,
they wore the same outfit.
Yeah.
They wore the same outfit.
They were separate too, right?
Later on, I don't know what he wore the later years.
I feel like he was like a jazz guy or like a blues.
No. He was a big.
Why do I see him as
so big, Stevie Ray?
He's
a guy
like flashy as fuck.
No, you just see him and you go, "Oh my God, that guy's frightening." He's about 6'7", about 320 of just jacked muscle, and he looks mean as shit.
Okay.
So anyway, this team, Harlem Heat, in 1993, they thought it was a good idea for them to be brought to the ring in chains.
Oh, my God.
In chains, not just in chains, brought to the ring by their manager.
Oh, my God.
Colonel Robert Parker, who is Robert Fuller from Continental Wrestling and the famous Fuller family. I got to say my wrestling shit here, but he's a famous guy, Robert Fuller, but now he's playing Robert Parker. Colonel Robert Parker.
The point is extremely white.
Who is his character is a white plantation owner. He is saying, I own these two large black men, and I have chained them up and brought them here to fight against their will, basically.
That's unbelievable.
That's the gimmick. Like, what the fuck are you thinking?
Mandingo fights or whatever?
That's insane.
So ridiculous.
So that obviously, came up in the lawsuit. That clip never aired, by the way, but if you look on YouTube, it's there. It's on YouTube. You can see them come out. It's amazing. We'll put it on our social media. It's like, your jaw is on. The whole crowd just goes, you hear like,
Ooh.
And it just stops. Everyone's like, what the fuck? There's a lot of like, are they in fucking chains? That's not okay,
you
I don't
can't put
think.
this on TV, right?
Even in 93, they were all like, that's not all right. And WCW had a lot of black fans, too. Yeah. They were all like, what the fuck, man? Yeah. Like, I like those guys. What the hell's going on here? Also, too, that wasn't the only time they did some shit with Harlem Heat. They also had another one where they put them in prison uniforms.
Oh, my God.
For no reason. Their characters were not criminals. They weren't in jail.
There was no mention of it.
No, they were just like, we'll put the black guys in prison uniforms. Leave the chains back here, but put the uniforms on and stick them out there.
Maybe their Inferno onesies didn't make it to the show. They're just like, we got these.
Yeah, let's throw those on there. Yeah, they put prison uniforms. They're like, why? They didn't air that either, by the way. That was another one they didn't air. If you don't even air it in wrestling because it's so bad, because we'll hear some shit they did air, amazing. Now, Conan, who's a Mexican wrestler, and you've probably seen Conan. He's a very famous guy. He threatened to quit one time. He wanted to get out of his contract, and he said he was going to quit, so they suspended him. Now, at the same time, because they were part of the same group, a guy named Billy Kidman, who was very, very white, he also threatened to quit because they all threatened to quit as a group. Conan got suspended for 3 months, and Kidman didn't miss a day. So they were like, so in his deposition, Conan said, I believe it's because I'm Hispanic and he's not.
That's the only difference between the two of us.
That's the only difference, exactly. Now, Ono and Stevie Ray, who's these two we've talked about,
right?
They had gone to the HR department at one point of the company, and so this is all documented. Went to the HR and asked, can we have some minority representation on the booking committee, please? Because, just something. They said, we don't want to be on it. Just put somebody on there so they might have something for us. Right. And no action was taken. Another time, Ono went with a guy named Ernest Miller, who's a black guy, and he was his manager. They were together because Ernest Miller had some karate gimmicks. Yeah. So, of course, sticking with the Asian guy because, meet Chinese, meet, obviously. So, Ono went to HR to complain that this is unfucking real. This was on television, by the way. This aired. That Buff Bagwell, I don't know if you remember Buff Bagwell, complete jackass wrestler, he had come to the ring in blackface.
Oh, my God.
In blackface.
Oh, my God.
On television in 1999. In blackface.
So terrible.
Unreal. And the crowd was pissed.
In 1999.
And they were pissed, but not like the good, like you wanted the bad guy to get booed. They were pissed like, I'm going to fuck that guy up in the parking lot, pissed. Like, fuck him. So, also, too, because it was Sonny Ono and Miller, they were trying to make fun of them. He was in blackface, and the guy he was with came out in like a really stereotypical, like old-timey, shitty, like Oriental mask, basically. Like, a Halloween mask. Yeah. But, that's what they came to, a blackface and that, to make fun of them. And Buff Bagwell got in trouble for the blackface, but no action taken for the Asian. They were like, that's funny. Who cares? Yeah, who flung poo? Right. Great, perfect.
Nobody will be mad about that. But the blackface thing, let's fix that.
Yeah, so no action's taken there either. Jesus. So that's all goes on the record, and that's not great for the company. Ono says also, too, there were never any Asian employees. Mm-hmm. In wrestling in these companies, basically what you have is independent contractors. Mm-hmm. Those are the performers, and then you have employees. The employees are the office workers, and some of the managers also do office work, and they do all sorts of shit.
And they all have the last name of McMahon.
Yeah, exactly. We're like they're considered employees. When you're an employee, you get health insurance, you get 401k, and this is from a major corporation, so it's a different thing. It's a serious deal. Now, this claims, and the claims were correct, that Jimmie Hart, who's also a manager who works in the office, was made an employee, and a couple other people too, while Sonny Ono was an employee by all rights. He had a corporate credit card, business cards, an office in WCW headquarters, and an access card to the building to get in whenever he wanted. But he was not an employee. He said, the only difference between me and everyone else is I'm Asian, and there's not one Asian employee in this entire company. And there wasn't. There was none.
It's
terrible. Incredible. Also, to the N-words thrown around a lot.
Oh, boy.
Here we get to...
Let's not use that one, can we? Can we just skip that quote?
Here's Hardbody. Well, there's one I have to use, otherwise it won't make any sense.
Right.
But this is where we get to Hardbody. Ernest Miller, who's the guy we talked about, who was with Sonny Ono with the blackface incident, was told, this was backed up by some execs in depositions, too.
Oh, boy.
They all heard it, because in depositions, people were...
You have to say it.
And the company had folded already,
Yeah.
so if they worked there, fuck it. They just said whatever they wanted. So he said, an executive told him, quote, "We only have white fans, and they look at you as an N-word." That's what he told him.
An executive said that
like
shit.
Corporation.
Wow.
Said that. But it's a wrestling guy. It wasn't it was a wrestling guy. It was it was an executive, one of the bookers, basically. Another said that all the N-words were responsible for all the unemployment and the rapes in the middle of the locker room.
Wow.
They would constantly say things like, "We don't have black fans and we don't need you because we don't have black fans." Like when wrestlers would try out a bunch of the wrestlers said when they would try out at the power plant, they go, "Yeah, good job, but we already got enough of your kind down here." Basically, they'd say black people don't buy wrestling tickets, so we don't need you. Meanwhile, half the crowd's black.
Yeah,
if you look at WCW,
so many
it's
black
so
fans.
stupid. I don't know what they were thinking. It's like they didn't want the black fans. Like, we don't want black people buying. They're fucking green. They're not black and white. Green is what's important, assholes. Who cares who's buying your tickets?
Right. Look at the NBA, by the way. When they were all white and they had all white fans, they still put black people in there, and it doesn't matter.
It worked.
What does it matter?
People want to see good wrestlers. They don't give a shit.
It doesn't matter what color the person is. If it's a good athlete, fucking hire him.
No one cares athletically.
Win, goddammit.
Yeah.
No.
Also, too, another, and this was backed up by referee Randy Anderson, who's another one of these employees, where Sonny Ono's not, said that, wow, this I actually have to say this. I apologize, but I got to say it. Said that Hardbody's outfit and his hair were, quote, "too niggerish for my television."
Wow.
That's
holy shit.
That's a high-level executive that they wouldn't say who it is. I have a few ideas, but I'm not going to try to get into it. But it's a guy who still works in the business.
He's still on the payroll.
He still works for WWE. He's a Hall of Fame.
He said shit like that.
Yeah. I think it's Dusty Rhodes. Just saying. Not sure. But I don't know. It's possible. That's all I'm saying. I don't know. Anyway, so I don't know. He's dead, so fuck it. But whatever. That's what it sounded like, as they said WWE Hall of Famer, and this was before he died. So I'm not sure, but don't quote me on that. Listen, don't hold me to that.
Could be anybody.
I think it's Dusty Rhodes. Anyway, so there are of the black.
What a horrible thing to say, by the way.
Yeah.
His
hair and his outfit.
Unbelievable.
Because he had cornrows at that point.
Yeah.
And his outfit. But that shouldn't matter. The fact of the matter, they should have said, he's terrible.
Right.
His work is awful. Yeah. He looks like shit in the ring. It looks like he's faking it. And
who gives a fuck what he's wearing?
I don't care what he's wearing.
Care.
So, wow. Anyway, so there is a grand total of 50 pages of the black slurs.
Wow.
In this lawsuit. 50 pages. Pages. Can you believe that shit? Unbelievable. So,
that's deep.
Yeah. So while this is going on, March 2001, WCW gets bought by Vince McMahon and WWF for $5 million, which is insanely low. The video library, think about what that's worth. 40 years of whatever. Anyway, so 2001, he needs something to do.
Yeah.
His wrestling company's closed down. WWF sure as shit doesn't want him. No. They have enough, decent wrestlers.
Right.
So he goes on.
I thought you were going to say something else.
No, they have enough of his kind down there. I should have. They have enough of his kind. You know what they said? Hair, boy, I'm telling you. So Hardbody, at this point, becomes a big star on FX, the channel, on their Tough Man show. Remember that Tough Man show?
Yeah.
He was like the star of that show. He was the Kimbo Slice of Tough Man.
How come I don't recall that?
It's amazing because in April of 2001, during a wrestler versus NFL show, you know who he knocked out in 32 seconds?
Who?
Dexter Manley.
Oh, my
this
God,
shit
that's
comes
awesome.
full circle. God damn it. Dexter Manley.
He rocked up Dexter. That's awesome.
Couldn't read the warning signs. Episode, 56 or so.
How did we not know that? How come we didn't
know
put that in that show?
I knew he did Tough Man, but I didn't know he fought this guy. I had that he had Tough Man, but not this. So anyway, he knocked out Dexter Manley. In one night, he wins all 3 fights in a night.
Wow.
Topped off by knocking out Dexter Manley, who's enormous.
Yeah.
Dexter Manley's 6'4", 6'5", 250.
He's a fucking wall.
He's a huge guy. Anyway, he just could not stop talking trash the whole time.
Dexter?
No. Hardbody.
Okay.
He's talking trash, not to anyone he's fighting. He's talking trash to Lawrence Taylor, who's not even fighting. He's there as a guest announcer, just like working for the network, and he's talking shit, calling him a has-been. You're a has-been. It's like, yeah, he's has-been to the Hall of Fame. That's where he has been, you asshole. You dumb shit.
Has been on the bottom of a pile breaking legs.
Has been in the Super Bowl twice and has 2 rings to show for it, you fuckhead. What did you do?
Has been in a Coke den.
Yeah, oh, God. Has been in a room with a 16-year-old prostitute. We can go on and on for what he has been. It's really, he's been a lot.
Oh, Jesus. Has been in movies? I don't know.
Has been in movies, yeah.
Has been in a Sandler movie.
God, he's been in everything. Yeah, no shit. Any given Sunday, too. So
has been awesome. How's that?
Has been my favorite football player of all time. How's that? I'm going to have to do him someday. Yeah. We're going to have to do him someday, and you're just going to hear me praising him, and then I'll talk about the crimes.
Here's a great man that did horrible things.
I'll say he did horrible things. We'll talk about the crime, and then I'm going to talk about a highlight from 1986 that made my childhood better. So you guys can go fuck yourselves. How's that?
It'd be as if John Elway robbed banks.
That's it.
That'd be what
it's
it
fine.
is.
Yeah, you'd still be like, God damn it, that drive against the Browns, I don't care.
Super Bowl in 98,
that's
unbelievable.
Super Bowl, the airplane spin, boy, helicopter. So, Hardbody. That's great. Yeah. Hardbody, while he's fighting, he calls his fists, his fists the pork chop and the biscuit cutter.
Oh, boy.
The fuck is a biscuit cutter? That's the stupidest name I've ever heard.
Biscuit cutter.
The pork chop.
What's a biscuit cutter? Is it like a pizza wheel?
I guess so. Yeah, I don't know. Why would a pork chop be threatening also? I want a pork chop. It sounds delicious.
Getting hit with one might hurt, though, a little bit.
A little bit, yeah. Nothing to really be threatening about or anything.
Might give you salmonella. What the fuck?
Oh, there you go. That's what it is. Oh, he's smart.
What about what's the biscuit cutter?
It's a long game. Yeah. That's what it is. It's not to hurt you now. You're like, that was fine. He hits like a bitch, and then you go home.
And 3 weeks later, you're
feeling so good, man. And then you're falling over.
You got diarrhea.
Wow. Dude, this guy is thinking ahead. He's on another level. I really didn't think of that. Now, 2001 also, while he's having all this success and lawsuit going on, he's arrested for pimping.
What?
He's arrested for pimping. And this is when it starts.
Thought he wasn't doing that.
Oh, boy, is he doing it.
I would never do that. Maybe man, later you will.
See all these index cards left? That's all pimping right there, baby. That is all horrible.
After 1999.
Yeah, this is all horrible acts. From now on, nothing is good. It's all bad from now on and a mess. So he's arrested for pimping, but the charges eventually kind of get dropped and go away, enough to the point where he's even interviewed by Sports Illustrated in November of 2001 talking about the tough man shit.
What?
And I looked through every page. I found that issue online and looked through every page painstakingly and couldn't find it. They said it was a November 26, 2001 issue. I looked at the one before it, one after it. I don't know if the guy got the month wrong in the article I read or whatever, but it was 4 hours of my fucking time for nothing. Anyway, so patreon.com/crime and sports. Jesus Christ. Anyway, the depositions for this lawsuit, by the way, let's get into this quick because they're pretty fucking interesting. Okay. He said that the Ichter guy said that Jimmie Hart, who was working with a new wrestling company trying to get them on TBS, was non-committal in his answers of whether people were racist because he's got shit to go on. Kevin Sullivan, Nancy Benoit's ex-husband and Mr. Devil there from Worcester, he says Ichter said, quote, Kevin Sullivan was fairly blunt. He identified a number of bookers who used racist language and racial slurs during the time he was at WCW. He said there has never been a black booker or black agent or black executive ever. Wow. That's how it worked over there. Yeah, there was nobody on the creative team, nobody in charge was black, basically. It was just all white guys, or anything, no Asians, there's nothing, just white guys. That's it, period. It's just kind of wrestling was like a good old boy club. It's what it was. It was
kind of what there's a lot of jobs and careers in this country that still do it.
It's true, but this was like a major corporation in the late 90s. You can't fucking do that. Like you need to hire whoever's talented. Yeah, you need to hire who's talented. Right. You can't just be like, well, I've known him for 20 years, so I'll just hire him again. Anyway, the lawsuit eventually gets settled. Big shocker. They settle
out of court.
They give. Well, there's a big thing in court, but it ends up getting settled because it was really getting ugly. And it's settled. Each guy got between $1 and $2 million out of this deal. Each. Wow. Each guy. So Hardbody's sitting pretty right now.
Yeah.
He was making $50,000 a year. Yeah. He's fighting tough man shits. Now he's got about $1.5 million.
Big paycheck.
A cool $1.5 million in the bank. Not too shabby. That's a good. He can invest in that. He buys a couple of homes. Mm-hmm. Actually, he buys 2 homes right near each other. One of them has a big barn out back.
Dumb.
He has, you can see what he does here. He has one of his homes is for his wife and one of his children lives there. I'm on board. The other home is for his wrestlers.
Yeah.
Now, his wrestlers, what he's doing...
They wrestle dudes online.
Well, no. He's got a wrestling company called Star South Championship Wrestling that he's promoting, and he's the owner of this company.
But little Becky.
Well, this is the thing. He has female wrestlers in this that he's bringing in. He also has a lot of like washed-up guys and kind of indie guys. He has legit wrestlers on there. I saw a card from August 28th of 2002. Jesus, that's not easy to find. Try finding August 28th, 2002 Star South Championship Wrestling fucking card. Good luck. Hardbody actually won a match, first I've ever seen, called Dark Gable. It was the guy he fought. Like Clark Gable, but black. Dark Gable. That's kind of funny, actually.
I mean, it's a great
That's pretty good. That's good.
But when
for a wrestler, that's pretty sharp.
But when you just won a lawsuit for racism, how about don't embrace it?
Don't embrace it. Yeah, no, this guy, Dark Gable, which I think is hilarious.
Sounds like a fucking rapper name now. That's fucking great.
Great rapper name. Some rapper take Dark Gable. Jesus, it's brilliant.
Yeah.
And I'm sure this guy doesn't wrestle anymore.
Kodak Black could use that. That's a great
Dark
one.
Gable?
Oh, it's beautiful.
Do your hair up like a pompadour. You're killing it, man. You're fucking crushing. I'll buy your shit.
Fuck yeah.
So this is his promotion. Before this card, the 28th, Hardbody announces to the locker room, to all the wrestlers, that anyone caught drinking before the shows would be fined, suspended, or lose their push. This is an independent wrestling show. These guys are making $25 a piece. Go fuck yourself. If I show up in the ring and know where I'm at, that's great, and I earned my money.
We're above board at that point.
Yeah, I saw their schedule for the end of this year. Cards were scheduled at such exciting, extravagant, just, beautiful locations such as, quote, bowling alley parking lot, Cartersville, Georgia.
Oh, boy.
So that's what we're dealing with. It's like a lot of small venues and a lot of shit like that.
If there's a venue at all, that's a parking lot.
That's a parking lot. It's a bowling alley parking lot, the bowling alley in Cartersville.
We're going to take up 4 parking spots and do a show.
We'll have a black guy and a Samoan guy. They'll headbutt each other and then stare at each other. It's the same thing as on TV. Don't worry about it now. Now, I don't know why I gave Hardbody a redneck accent, but whatever. Now, on Hardbody's promoting, we have a quote from a guy named Frank Aldridge, who's the owner of WWA4 Wrestling School, which is probably some fucking scam school where people go and pay goddamn...
Like a comedy school.
Like a comedy, wrestling's worse, though. They come in, they plunk down $3,000.
Oh, my God.
They beat the shit out of you, make you run around till you throw up, do all this stuff, and they're like, you're a wrestler now.
Wow.
Like, now what am I supposed to do? So that's a real ripoff. I mean, the comedy classes are kind of like therapy for these fucking people. Right. Anyway, he said, quote, he was a promoter and a good one. He was a very pushy guy, like a New York City stockbroker. You could lose your ass with them, but he would still had the balls to call you up and talk you into the next deal. He could talk you into stuff. He had an inner power, and I think that frightened people, though it shouldn't have. That's what he says about Hardbody.
It shouldn't.
Yeah.
The man's a pimp.
The man's a pimp. Want to talk about his inner power for a second?
Let's talk about
his inner power for a second. During one of his shows in Florida, he announced this was a road show. They were all from Georgia.
Yeah.
He told the wrestlers that he got 2 rooms for the male wrestlers. You guys have to share 2 rooms, which is kind of normal back then. Back in the day, they used to do fucking 6
How many guys?
Room. Who knows? Honestly, it's probably 15 guys.
Good God.
Stuffed into 2 rooms. But like that, for wrestlers, that's like not all that... You know what I mean? Uncommon.
That's par for the course.
Yeah, the indie guys or the low-level guys, and anybody who wasn't in like WWF, that's kind of what they would do back in the day. Is how many can we cram in and save a few bucks?
Terrible.
That way we can all buy Coke and die when we're 41. You know what I mean? It happens. So he tells them there's 2 rooms for the male wrestlers, but their wives, girlfriends, and all the female wrestlers would be sleeping with Hardbody in his king-size bed in his room. He literally tells them that. Some agreed to it. Some said, okay, that's how fucking dumb these guys are. I really want to wrestle. You're wrestling in a bowling alley parking lot. This is not worth your family. So anyway, there's a quote from one of the wrestlers. Some of the wives left their husbands for him. There is a wrestler named Shannon Dumas who says, quote, we were doing a promotion at this bar in Florida, and this wrestler got a call from his wife. She told him that she was breaking up with him and working for Hardbody. What it meant was that she was going to be a prostitute.
Wow.
That's
some power.
Fucking crazy.
Wow.
That's I mean, he has an inner strength. He has an inner power. That's what this is. He's He's a pimp, and he pimps people.
He's got so much sales ability. He can get a married woman to leave her husband to be a prostitute.
Dude, this guy could have done a lot with his life. Like, think about it. He had the drive physically. Like, he obviously was a studious guy that would do shit that he needed to and do his sit-ups and do all that. Wow. And he's got this kind of power of persuasion. He could have been an amazing salesman.
Had he invented the Snuggie? Amazing. Holy shit.
No, he could have been one of those guys at a telemarketing firm that makes $8,000 a week while everyone else makes, $300 a week. He's making like acres, got giant gold chains and a Cadillac. What the fuck is going on? It's a telemarketing joint.
He's making old ladies change their fucking transfer their balance all day long.
Yeah, he's one of these guys. Like, he would have been a great, I don't know, pyramid scheme guy or something. Bertie Madoff could use this guy. The wrestling promotion is so successful that it never, ever even turned a dime in profit, and he doesn't even file tax returns for 2002 and 2003.
Because there isn't any.
There isn't any. He's not making a fucking dime. Basically, he got his lawsuit. He's living off the lawsuit. Yeah. Nothing's going on. He's also driving a 2002 black GMC Denali with...
It's a $55,000 car.
Oh, yeah. He's got dough because of what he's doing on the side. Uh-huh. With the license plate that's HARDBDY, which to me says hard birthday. That's hard birthday. Happy B-Day is not so, but Hardbody, I'm like, hard birthday? I literally took a second to realize it was Hardbody. I'm like, hard birthday? What the fuck kind of stupid thing is that? Oh, Hardbody. Yeah, that's his name, dumb shit. So I was tired. I slept about an hour last night.
I saw an article online here that showed a bunch of, although I don't know why I was reading it. It was a bunch of plates that are banned in Arizona, and Hardbody's one of them. You're not allowed to have that here. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, you can't put that on your license plate.
Maybe it's because of this asshole.
Maybe
we'll see. I just want to keep him out of the state. Like, maybe if we don't have his license plate, he won't come here. Oh, we're not going to have to worry about him for a while, as we'll get into. Now, August 18th, 2004. This shit gets eventful, okay? In Smyrna, Georgia, at the Belmont Hills Shopping Center. This is not a real great place, by the way. This is kind of pretty fucking ghetto. Hardbody is at a store called City Trends Fashion. Okay. This is like a shitty Ross, is the way it's explained. Like the low-budget TJ Maxx is what it was described in this article. But it looked like a Ross from when I saw like shit on the floor. It was a mess. Like Sebastian Maniscalco. Shit all over the floor.
Shit's on the floor. So, you got a bra with the pillows.
I love that. So basically, he's inside. There's some kind of dispute outside, not involving Hardbody or anything else. There's just a dispute because it's a ghetto shopping mall, basically. Okay. And there's some bullshit going on outside, and the police are called. Okay. So cops show up. While the cops are there, a woman runs out of City Trends Fashion, screaming toward the police, saying that she's being held against her will.
Oh, God.
Okay? So she's running toward the car. Yeah. Okay. And he has a handler for these girls, a woman that we'll talk about in a second, that grabs her and pulls her back because they have people watching them. This is like some Scientology shit. It's wild. Okay. So Smyrna Police Detective Lieutenant Keith Zagans said, wow, quote, when we walked in the store, he was paying for all their clothes. Hardbody's talking about. He was paying for all their clothes. We knew something was up. This wasn't Big Brother going out buying clothes for his little sister or anything. It appears there was something not quite right about what's going on there. Now, these women, he had a big group of women with him that he was buying shitty clothes for in this store.
Yeah, he's taking them to the worst fucking shitty store.
He's taking them to a terrible store, and he also... he's taking them to a terrible store. They're all scantily clad, all these ladies, like in a store. Yeah. And they all have military ranking insignias pinned to their shirt. All of these girls, okay? And so the cops go and they talk to them, and they give what they call clearly rehearsed statements. All of them say the exact same words. Right. Like he said, if cops talk to you, you say this shit right here. They all said the same thing. Then they separate the women from Hardbody, and their stories fucking change. Sure. Stories change,
now they're feeling a little safer.
Absolutely. Sergeant Robert Harvey said, quote, we separated him from the women so we could get honest testimony from them. You could tell these ladies were obviously scared to death of them. They spun a story that was hard to believe, but it was all true. Yeah. We're going to get into this shit because this is some crazy shit. They go outside. They search his Denali that's sitting out there. They find a suitcase in the back. They crack it open. It's got some items in it, including a leather strap-on.
Oh, my God.
Oh, it gets worse. A black and gold strap-on, 2 battery-operated dildos, ladies' undergarments, lubricant, fur-lined handcuffs, a bag of flavored condoms. If you need a fucking bag for how many condoms you need, Jimmie, how many condoms have you had at once? A 3-pack?
Well, I mean,
do you need a bag of them?
All right, here's some honesty.
A sack of condoms?
No, I use condoms with my wife still, and I always will, because I'm not fucking. Even if I fucking get this thing snipped, I'm not gonna take a chance. She's Spanish. She's fertile as fuck. All right?
But still,
I use condoms constantly. 24.
That's you don't
number.
need a bag for those.
No.
That's not a bag.
No.
That's not a bag amount.
It comes in a box.
Yeah, you don't need like we can't have all these boxes. Just pour them in a big shopping bag. No. A bag of condoms, and of course a 12-inch double-sided dildo, which you have to have as the cherry on top.
Why not?
Of course. So he's standing there while they're looking at this. He's trying to be funny. He looks at them and he says, "It isn't illegal to possess any of that stuff."
He's not wrong.
I can't get in trouble for that unless my wife finds out. That's his fucking That's his fucking punchline. And then he said, "Me Chinese, me play joke," and then he did that. So that was a total different thing.
Hilarious.
But he's wrong, though, because that would be true if it was just dildos. But also, the case also contained 4 white envelopes with money in them and 3 spiral notebooks used for logging transactions.
Oh, you idiot.
Not great to carry around in the car.
Didn't you learn from Heidi Fleiss? Don't write the shit down.
No,
Jesus.
Well, this was around the same time. He's got a fanny pack on, of course, because all the wrestlers are fucking fanny pack. Wrestlers and Joe Rogan, fanny pack. So he's carrying $800 in 10s, 5s, and singles in his fanny pack.
What?
We'll find out where that came from in a second.
Not even a 20? What the fuck, man?
He's arrested. Hardbody's arrested on 3 counts of false imprisonment from 3 of the girls that say they didn't want to be there.
Right.
He boasted that he'd be out of jail in no time, no problem. No problem
Be back
at all.
on the street pimping in a minute.
Be back on the street pimping. So now there's been he's bilked a company for, well, not really bilked. They told him his hair was niggerish. That's not okay.
No.
So they didn't, but they got that. I mean, he's been a disappointment to the Army. The Armed Services has got to be fucking disappointed. They're a victim in all this. These poor women. Good God, these poor women. Unbelievable.
The men who they've left to be with him?
The children who had to watch him be a shitty wrestler. I feel bad for all of these people, Jimmie. So many I feel bad for.
So fun.
But not nearly as bad as I feel for Harrison Norris. He's in the U.S. Navy. It says on his LinkedIn, he's, quote, striving for a better future.
Hey.
Sounds like a great guy. He went to college of Central Florida. He lives in San Diego, California, Navy. What do you expect there? Harrison Norris, a sporting goods professional. I don't know what the fuck that is, but in Lafayette, Louisiana.
You need your jockstrap sized. I'll figure out.
If he searches himself, he's a pimp. So Harrison Norris, automotive professional.
Oh.
Put a word before
You're
professional.
A mechanic,
You're a mechanic in Port Angeles, Washington. And finally, I really actually feel bad for this guy. He should change his fucking name. Harrison Norris. He's a stuntman.
Oh, no.
Who was in Mad Max Fury Road.
Really?
He's in Suicide Squad.
What?
He is the director of several award-winning short films.
Wow.
And on IMDb, he is Harrison Norris 2.
He's in a movie that has Grammys.
2. He is not even the first Harrison fucking.
That's hilarious.
What do you look at that and go, who else has my name? Pimp and Rapist. Yeah, let's go ahead and I'm going to call myself something. I'm going to call myself Norris Harrison.
I'm Harry Norris.
Wow. Change your fucking name, dude, because you're clearly a talented guy. You got a good career in front of you. You're fucking up.
You're the one striving for a better future.
How many people, because I mean, Hardbody's a big jacked up guy. If someone was going to hire a stuntman, they're like, oh, who is this? And they Google it, they might think that's probably the guy. He was an ex-wrestler, now he's a stuntman, and this guy's probably lost jobs.
Let's not hire him.
No, he's literally probably lost work.
That's what
insane.
I mean. They went with let's not hire him.
Let's not hire
Please hire him. Give him lots more work because he deserves it.
He deserves a
lifetime of that shit.
Poor bastard. Yeah. Well, change your name. I mean, you could fucking change. You're an actor, for Christ's sake. Change your name.
Go with a stage name, you idiot.
Yeah, come on. That might be a stage. Imagine if he changed it to that.
God,
and he was
Jesus.
like, oh, shit. God damn it.
How depressing. That'd be like changing your name to Ted Bundy. How fucked.
Like, fuck. I thought it was nice and simple. Ted is simple, and then Bundy. Everyone can spell Bundy.
I love Married with Children.
Yeah, my last name is Zoronsky or some shit with something with a blah in it. So anyway, August 19th, which is the very next day after the arrest, Hardbody is released on $55,000 bond.
Wow.
So he wasn't shitting. He's out immediately. Yeah. Now, remember C.W. Anderson, a wrestler we talked about that said some mixed things about him? He also said, quote, while I was in WCW, all the talk going around was that he was involved in stuff like this. We were told, if you need anything, go to Hardbody.
Wow.
So he was the guy like, hey, you want some bitches? You want some this? You want some that? Because
you want some hoes?
You looking for some hoes?
I got hoes everywhere.
So, So Hardbody, basically, this is how he would do this, okay? This is so you'd wonder, how does a pimp find these girls? Where does he find these fucking girls? Are they wrestling groupies?
No, they're ex-wives of wrestlers.
Some of them. He would find drug addicts, prostitutes, or just poor women. He would even bail girls out of jail that he didn't know. He'd go in and see who was arrested for something lowball, like some drug charge or some prostitution. He'd bail them out.
Wow.
And he'd go, hey, look at this.
He'd search Sheriff Joe's fucking database of DUI girls.
He would say, tell you what, you ever think about being a pro wrestler? Because I got a promotion, and I train. I got a barn because of those two houses. One of them has a big barn out back that he put a ring in that he's training people in. So he's going, you come to me. You can come to my gym at Cartersville, Georgia. Yeah. He'd tell them, I'll pay for everything. I pay for your food, your housing, your hair, your nails, everything like that. He told them during the day they just train all day like they do what the WCW power plant used to be. Makes them do cardio. They take bumps. Like, they're doing actual wrestling shit, too.
He didn't tell him what the training is.
Oh.
He didn't pull out the knapsack with the double-sided dildo.
No, that's the thing. And these girls, once they got in, they do the training, but they were also watched by what he called the team leaders. These were his prostitutes that he'd had for a while. Sorry to say this, ladies, but this is what pimps call their bottom bitch.
Right.
It's their bottom bitch is the one they can trust, and that's pimp language. It's not my language. Don't bitch at me for that, please.
They're the whore with air fingers that they can just make do anything.
That's my bottom. That's the one. That's like they're as close to their wife as you can get, basically. But he's got a few of these, and he has a wife too. That lives across the street. By the way, who knows none of this is going on.
She knows nothing. And he has 3 kids.
3 kids. Only one lives there, though. Anyway, the girls were escorted everywhere. They even had a sign-in sheet for the bathroom. A sign-in sheet for the bathroom.
Wow.
Man. It was ran like the military. At night, Hardbody would take the girls to what he called the, quote, Mexican clubs in Atlanta, and the girls would dance for $5 each, naked with the guys. Or they'd have sex with them for about $100, $150, depending on the girl. So that's what he was doing with these girls at night. So that's the wrestlers during the day, hookers at night, right? He would charge the girls. This is what his scheme was.
Oh, my God. How much is he making?
He was doing an indentured servitude scheme, literally like they used to do with slaves, where after slavery was illegal, they'd say, well, I'll take your family here, I'll do this, and then you work for me for 20 years till you work it off. That's not legal at all anymore. No. They outlawed it in 1867. It's called peonage. Okay. Not allowed to do it, right? So he would charge the girls $250 a month in rent, and $20 a week for groceries, and then like nail money and all that shit. And it would go on their ledger. And the way he would say you're working it off is you'd have to do manual labor around his house. Yeah. He'd have them like sodding the yard.
Wow.
And like doing like yard work, like shit like that, painting things, doing tiling and shit. Like he had like a manual labor force. He's a crazy sick genius.
That's
he's like Lex Luthor, this guy.
Yeah.
So he's doing this, and what he would do is, though, their debts would never get smaller. Yeah. He'd always say, well, I'm fining you for this, or you did that wrong, you did that, so that's $250 I'm taking off your thing. And their debts kept growing and growing and growing, even though they were going out and being prostitutes and doing manual labor all day and all that. They kept getting deeper and deeper into debt. This is obviously on purpose.
And these are troubled people that just
They're all troubled.
Yeah. At some point, you'd think, well, why didn't they just leave? They're fucking troubled. They're got a lot of problems, and they don't realize how bad they're being treated.
Now, this is horrible here. This is the worst of the worst here. His initial break-in of the whole thing was called the, quote, cut party, is what they'd call it. Basically, he'd be forcing a girl to take part in a gangbang. That was her fucking thing. He would meticulously direct the whole thing to tell the girls what to do, and then would get violent if they refused. One girl, he headbutted her and threatened to throw her out of the window.
Wow.
They were on the 3rd story. Headbutted her, threatened to throw her out of the window. Other times, he would have the other girls attack her with dildos, basically, and do shit to her.
What?
Yeah, he would go discipline her.
Oh, my
God.
God.
And then the team leaders would come in and fucking pin her down.
And rape her.
Basically, rape her with objects and shit.
Horrible.
This is horrible. This is from prison shit is what
My
he's doing.
God.
It's disgusting is what he's doing here. So Jessica Hamrick was one of those team leaders like I talked about. She's the one who pulled the
grabbed
girl
her hair
from the wrist and all that and pulled her away. That's basically she was helping with all of this, and there's a couple others that we'll get into. He called his room the, quote, general's quarters. That's what it said. And having sex with him was required, obviously, and it was called, quote, HB training.
Oh, boy.
So that's your hard body training to fucking get fucked by this scumbag.
You know he called his penis the general.
I was thinking he'd call it the pork chop or the biscuit cutter again. I got my pork chop, my biscuit cutter, and my apple pie down here or some shit. I don't know what he'd say. Jesus Christ. Also, like I said, he's also fucking training them for wrestling while this is all going on. So they're getting forcibly gangbanged at night, and then in the daytime,
headbutted and clotheslined during the day.
In the daytime, now get out there and take a flat back bump, and then run around for 4 miles. There was a sign in the gym that was right next to the flag, because he had a big American flag, because he's a very patriotic fella.
He's very proud of this country that allows him to pimp.
Allows him to pimp and get away with it for all these years. In the gym, there was a large sign that said, quote, "Caution, beatings occur around the clock."
Wow.
So he's not fucking around.
There's warning signs, literal warning signs.
He's not fucking around. He had commandments.
Really?
Commandment 1 was respect Hardbody.
Okay.
He had 10 commandments. I don't know what the middle ones are. I only got 1 and 10. And 10 was, if you don't know what to do, ask Hardbody.
Oh, boy.
I'll fucking tell you what to do.
Yeah.
It's like they were called the commandments, and he had them up on the wall.
And when Hardbody, number 11, when Hardbody gives you the answer, see number 1.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Respect Hardbody.
That's exactly what he would do. You completely nailed the mind of a fucking
unbelievable of a sociopath.
Sociopath. Absolutely.
I got tendencies.
Yeah, that's nice. Now, this is how he would recruit girls, too. This is a story of one particular girl. In 2002, 20-year-old Michelle Oshiff, that's a hard one to say, but Oshiff, we're going to say. She's 6 feet tall, this girl, so she's a big, tall girl. She's a Sicilian girl. She's not from there, but from here, so she's got like an olive complexion, exotic looking, whatever.
Tell me more.
So you don't want to know.
I want to climb that tree.
No, you don't, Jimmy. It's so sad. So she was walking to her job at the Waffle House. Walking to her job at the Waffle House.
Yeah.
So you don't talk about vulnerable.
Yeah.
That girl's praying for Ted Bundy to come cut her fucking throat, because that's miserable.
Her life is already tough.
That's tough. She's probably in that uniform, too, the Waffle House uniform.
Smells like grease. She's 6
miserable.
feet tall.
Yeah, she probably drew putting her head down, miserable.
Got her shoulders up.
Well, guess who pulls up?
Oh, no.
Old Hardbody pulls up in his navy blue Cadillac and asked her if she needs a ride.
Yeah.
Now, at first, he would be nice to him. He told her about his wrestling promotion. He said he was trying to train female wrestlers because there's a big market for that right now. It's a niche thing. Took her to work. It was fine. Next day, he invited her to a boxing match to come and watch with him, and they discussed her working for his company, all very professional, showed her videos of him wrestling in WCW.
Yeah.
Here's me on television in front of 30,000 people.
Yeah.
See, I'm a nice guy.
I've done big things.
I know
not
what
a
I'm
piece
doing.
Of shit.
Here's everybody beating me in 4 minutes. There's some dipshit throwing me in the pool. Here's a girl beating me up and throwing me in the pool.
Right.
So he told her that she could be as big as China. We all remember China. Joni, what's her name?
Joni Laurer.
Laurer, yeah. She's
dead.
She's dead now.
Rest
But
in peace.
we all remember China. She was the biggest thing in the world as far as female.
The grossest sex video that ever happened.
That is. I don't know who's grosser, him or her.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Sean Waltman is fucking gross, too.
Jesus.
X-Pac or Six-Pac or whoever he was back then. Lightning Kid. If you want to go back to Global, but whatever.
What a terrible, terrible video. One night in China.
Oof, I remember seeing that. So he told her he can be as big as China. He's like, you work out, you get as big as China, and I'll help you get there. You're going to be a huge star. So she's like, whatever. He said, quote, if you want to come and train, you have to stay here and work for me, and work for me as an escort to make money, because you can't have a real job. Being young and stupid, I said, okay, no problem, she said. So he said, you're going to be an escort. She's like, okay, it's better than the Waffle House,
Sounds
I guess.
good.
Because she wanted to be a star.
Yeah, but
she's 20.
And mythologically, the word escort seems like you go on a date with the guy, you go to dinner, you come home.
She didn't say, he didn't say, I'm going to have girls attack you with dildos and have guys gangbang. That never came up. This was, you go out, maybe I'll have to jerk the guy off or something. But if there's being a star at the end of it, a 20-year-old person can sometimes deal with that.
Listen, in comedy, people think that all the time, too.
Yeah, they would suck dick if anyone would let them. I mean, Jesus Christ, that's the thing. So I know guys here, for one weekend, they would blow everyone they could. So for nothing, for free. So he'd have to work still.
Yeah.
So
they'd still have to
they'd still have to work.
Right.
Yeah, well, not even for the money
Still
for a
has to
weekend. He
show
still have
up.
to show up and do 2 shows. He would make the girls feel good about being in shape, and they would feel good about their bodies because they were exercising and they were off drugs too, because he wouldn't let them do drugs. That was the other thing. So a lot of these girls were like, "Oh, I'm cleaned up now."
This is a positive thing.
This is positive, yeah. But then he would also constantly remind them of their past, because he's he knows what he's doing here.
Hey,
he knows how to
junkie, come here.
Yeah, he said, this is what Michelle said about Hardbody. Quote, he had a God complex. I came to love him. First of all, those 2 sentences shouldn't be back to back. He had a God complex. I came to love him. Other girls came to love him, too. A couple of them were off the street and grateful to him for keeping them off drugs. every time a new girl came in, he was like, I'm going to make you love me. And he would in his own way. So these girls they come from fucked up, guys, anyone who comes from a fucked up background doesn't understand love.
Stockholm as fuck.
And also, too, they just don't get it. Someone's paying attention to them and acting like they matter to them, even if it's keeping track of them and keeping them under wraps and making them sign a bathroom sheet and beating the shit out of them. They care where they are.
Fathers, love your fucking daughter.
Thank you.
It's your
Jesus
fault,
Christ.
asshole.
Yep, dickheads.
Give a shit.
Eventually, Michelle becomes one of his team leaders. That's how much she was she just jumped right in and indoctrinated into this shit. At this point, too, in 2006, one of the girls escapes by cutting a hole in the screen window of the bathroom and climbing out when she's supposed to be taking a shower.
Yeah.
Whoever was in charge of the sign-up, she was pissed that night.
Somebody fucked up.
Who did this shit?
Somebody lost their job.
Yeah. His top earner would be, they'd be the queen, you'd call them, the top earner. They would get rewards such as private TV time, maybe a day off, and, of course, the biggest reward of all, they would get to sleep with him also.
Thank God for that.
So, God, you have to have that. Obviously, he had Jesus Christ.
And by the way, real quickly, you're running a business that's a sex shop, okay?
Pretty much.
And your highest earner, who obviously sleeps with the most men, now her reward is you're going to sleep with her. After,
by the way, he's still married.
Yeah, and. He's a piece of shit.
He's a huge piece of shit. So,
and that's not a reward for you.
No, God, no. That's a punishment.
Right.
Great. With this psychopath. Right. Great. He would sell problem women off to other pimps, ones that he called problem. And who knows what there might have been worse.
What's the problem? They're honest?
That's what I mean. They were not obeying or whatever. So what's he
They want out.
Yeah. So he would threaten the girls with selling them to somebody particularly brutal. That's what he'd do. Be like, I'll sell you to this motherfucker and he'll do this and this to you. He'll burn you with coat hangers and blah, blah, blah. And they go, oh, shit. All right.
That's
I'll do it.
Slave life, man.
That's what he was doing.
That's what they would do.
Exactly. That's what I mean. He knew what he was doing. It's sad, man. So, August 25th, 2005.
Yeah.
This is all, he was still, after he got busted and charged with 3 counts of false imprisonment and all that, he's still recruiting girls, bringing them in business as usual. Yeah. Does he not think that anyone
maybe they're watching, bro?
You think maybe someone's watching? Someone like, I don't know, the FBI? Because on August 25th, 2005...
People suspect a ring?
Yeah. August 25th, 2005, FBI agents raid both of Hardbody's homes.
Oh, shit.
Under suspicion of human trafficking.
And now his wife knows.
Yep. Now his wife knows.
Oh,
his wife knew about the arrest before, but he told her it was bullshit.
Yeah.
He said, they're just wrestlers. They're my wrestling. Because he would just tell them, I got wrestling girls. They thought they were my prostitutes, but they just worked for me. And she was like, oh, that makes sense. Because the girl who would marry him and stick with him, imagine how she's what her life's been like to lead her up to that point.
What sales he's pitched at her.
God, that poor woman.
Real quickly, my wife, if I'm arrested for pimping and I tell her, no, they're just my wrestlers, they thought that I was running a prostitute ring, she'd be like, what the fuck would make them think that?
Why? How? Yeah, she's not stupid.
She's not dumb.
No. So Hardbody and Amy Allen, who was his main woman who kept track of all. He was like she's like the main woman enforcer, bottom bitch prostitute, basically. And a guy named Cedric Jackson were also arrested. They were his main people in
the thugs.
The thugs, yeah. Audrey, which is his wife, Audrey said that she knew of the 2001 and 2004 arrests, but saw no signs of abuse or prostitution. None from the house.
Go to the other house, Audrey.
Wow. She said she had no idea he had sex with any other women.
Wow.
Thought he was totally faithful. Thought she had a great marriage.
He did great at keeping clean then.
Wow. So yeah, he's stuck there now. He's in jail. They're holding him without bond, by the way.
Really?
He's got a kid. All this shit. He's stuck. What the fuck is going on with this guy? He's sitting in his jail cell. He's got prostitutes. He's got houses to take care of. Most of all, he doesn't know what to do with his dogs. And you know who shows up? It's Bobby Colorado, the animal trainer from Texas. And he says... How is it you've come to arrive here? Huh? The fuck is right, you fucking skank, and then you walk away. That's what you do. That's what a gentleman does.
That's a gentleman.
That's a gentleman. Yeah, you fucking skank. I don't want you to know how. Anyway, you're disgusting. You smell like my ass. Get the fuck out of here, you fucking bitch. And then you walk away. That's what you do. That's what gentlemen do. You, on the other hand, you walk up to a girl, hey, honey, how you doing? And then you take her, you handcuff her. What the fuck is wrong with you, huh? I'd come over there and smack you if this fucking glass wasn't here. You know what I'm saying? Nah, I'll train your animals. Don't get me wrong. They're nice dogs. A beautiful German Shepherd. I don't want to. But, you got to cut this shit out with the girls. Hey, I'll talk to Audrey about the dogs, though. All right, have a good one. Bobby Colorado, he just leaves.
He leaves in a poof of dog shit.
Puff of marinara sauce, and he's gone. Just gone.
Hilarious. Poof. We're going to get so much trouble for that.
Why? He's my new favorite character. I'm fucking Italian. I can say whatever I want. And that was Bobby Colorado saying that. There's like some jerk-off,
jerk-off Kenny.
Witness protection program guy. It's not me saying that, obviously. Have you ever heard me call a girl a skank? Or a bitch, for that matter. I'm pretty good.
I call them bitches from time to time.
You do, but only...
When they're bitches. I mean,
yeah, you're fighting a fight. I understand. But I might stay out of it. I don't know. I was raised by a bunch of Italian women to kick my ass if they heard me say it. So I can't do it. But a sergeant said, quote, he was so prideful and arrogant that he wouldn't allow him to stop. The feds were watching him, and it literally kept going on and on. They're watching him going, is he this fucking stupid? Yeah. He just got busted.
He is that fucking stupid.
He's that fucking stupid. So May 1st, 2006, Amy Allen and Cedric Jackson plead guilty because they're not that fucking stupid.
No.
They plead guilty to conspiracy, peonage, sex trafficking, forced labor, and a whole bunch of shit. I mean, it's a
How
quite
deep
the laundry
was their
list.
sentence?
We'll get to that in a second here. Hardbody, basically, he is in June 2006. He's still being held in jail, and he's pissed off about it. He's been held since August, and he puts an appeal in to get bail. Wow. He's like, you should be releasing me on bail. This is ridiculous. And they all, after this whole appeal, they say, you've threatened witnesses before.
Yeah.
All the girls are scared of you. Yeah. Why wouldn't you just go out and threaten them again? Clearly, you have no observance of the law or respect for anybody else.
You don't understand how this shit works.
Yeah, you're going to sit in jail with no bail, dickhead. So he sits in jail. The trial's going to start in September.
Okay.
Best thing he could do for himself is what when the trial starts?
Plead.
Well, besides that, if he was going to go to trial, he's going to
be quiet. Don't get on the stand.
Hire a good lawyer. Yeah. One thing he shouldn't do is act as his own attorney, correct?
Oh, my God.
This fucking idiot is such a narcissistic shithead that he dismisses his lawyer beforehand and represents himself on federal fucking human trafficking charges.
And he's like, I got this.
An idiot. This is the dumbest thing we've ever heard of. Represents himself. He has no law experience whatsoever. None. He's probably watched Matlock a couple of times. That's all he's fucking got. But the reason he does it is because then he gets to question the victims himself.
Oh, shit.
So he gets to try to intimidate them on the stand. So he's literally in a federal fucking district courtroom. He is trying to intimidate and pimp these women in a courtroom in front of a jury and a judge.
Right. He doesn't get to that is showing exactly what he doesn't understand. Exactly. To the people that are going to judge his fucking fate.
They're scared for the girl when he's talking to them. That's not good for you, dickhead. He would go up real aggressively to these prostitutes that were testifying, the sex workers that were testifying against him, and he would say shit like, he'd just walk up and go, how many sexual partners have you had?
Wow.
And they'd be like, none of your business. And then they would object because you can't bring that up in court anyway. That's not relevant in the whole thing. But that's the type of shit he was trying to intimidate them. It's fucking nuts, man. I'm trying to bully them. Unreal.
If I was one of those girls, I'd just be like, how many did you hire me for?
Yeah, right? Yeah. But
I can't remember. You forced me on too many.
Yeah. Well, he's trying to say, well, her word doesn't mean shit. She fucks people. Like, yeah, because you forced her to, you jackass. So... Unreal, man.
On the threat of beating the shit out of her, throwing her out of a third-story window.
And also, too, I think what he was trying to do is get them to not testify. Like, oh, shit, if he's going to question me, I don't want to testify. Yeah. Trying to scare them out of it. But they're protected by the federal government, and he's in jail with no bail.
Right.
So, and they're saying, we have a lot of evidence against him, and he's not coming on the street.
And the other people, if he doesn't beat you, his trusted people are already in fucking jail.
They're already testifying against him. So a woman named Lexi, one of his women here, testified. She said that she was strung out when she met Hardbody at a gas station. Mm-hmm. She said, quote, he asked me if I'd ever consider a job in professional wrestling. Being on the streets, you get tired. That seemed like something positive in my life.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's good. She's a week later.
It's a job.
Yeah, a week later, he takes her to some random home and has her have sex with 3 guys for her cut party, and she was horrified and the whole thing, and then she found out it wasn't such a good deal. But that's going on in court.
Yeah.
She's describing this horrible shit that happens to him, then he's getting up and yelling at her. Jesus. So this isn't a good strategy for him. So this trial goes on for 2 weeks, and there's 2 days of deliberation. I don't know what the fuck took the jury 2 days to talk about, but the federal shit, there's a lot of charges, too. There's a ton. So after 2 days of deliberation, Hardbody is convicted of sexual abuse, forced labor, sex trafficking, conspiracy, witness tampering, peonage.
Wow.
You fucking name it. All counts convicted. Go to hell, asshole.
Slam the gates.
Slam the gates. Christ. Sentencing set for February 28th.
Yeah.
On the conviction, U.S. Attorney David Namahas, well, that's how you say it, said, quote, the evidence at the trial clearly proved that Norris used force and threats against the victims, forcing them to work as prostitutes against their will. Sex trafficking and other forced labor are forms of modern-day slavery and cannot be tolerated.
Thank God.
So, yes, all three defendants now, because they pled and now he's out. Now, his mother, Lucille Norris, is there. She's denying all charges and piss. Another mother who just will not fucking do it. The only one was Tommy Kane's mother was like, hey, stabbed her up. I watched it.
I mean, yeah.
She said, quote, it still ain't over. Yeah,
it is.
Yeah, asshole, it's over.
That's definitely it.
And just to see exactly how much over it is, during sentencing, which is always the most fun part, U.S. District Judge Jack Camp tells Hardbody, quote, quite frankly, you seem to have a better understanding of psychology than most psychologists I've known. Because he does.
Yeah, because he figures out how to manipulate. Right.
Exactly. That's
what
he said.
It's not psychology. It's fucking...
Well, it's psychology. It's that's what they call, in wrestling, that's what they call working the crowd, is psychology. It's like you act like you're hurt, then they feel bad for you, and then you can make a comeback, and that's psychology. Okay. Like you're trying to... You're pulling
that emotional roller coaster.
Exactly. He's doing that with these girls. It's the same thing.
Right in front of everybody.
He was terrible at it in wrestling, but he's fucking good at it.
Figures it out in personal life when there's monetary gain.
Yep. So after the judge says that, he sentences him. It's on April 1st, 2008. He is sentenced to life in prison.
Whoa.
You, sir, may fuck off, mister.
Holy shit.
Take a fucking walk, asshole. Life in prison. Eat shit and die.
Wow.
Yeah. He deserves it.
Yeah, I'm not saying...
No, but it's amazing that they actually got him for it.
Yes.
They actually banged him on that.
What state was this? Georgia?
This is federal. Doesn't matter.
Oh, yeah, it's federal court.
Federal. Yeah. So, it's amazing, though. He's done. Amy Allen, his right-hand woman there, received 2 years and 10 months, followed by 3 years of supervised. She's not going to do anything if he's not forcing her to another thing. And Jackson got 5 years prison and 3 years supervised.
It's pretty steep.
It's pretty steep, but I mean,
they deserve it.
He was like enforcing with women. That's not great. Now, this sounds like pretty clear cut. Yeah. There's an issue.
Okay.
There's a little issue here.
Oh, boy.
Judge Jack Camp ends up later on being under federal investigation after he retires. Number one, for racist sentencing.
Oh, no.
Guns and drug charges as well.
Did he put the N-word in the... Did he say you can take your...
No, this is kind of worse, actually.
Oh, boy.
He said, me Chinese. He said, Camp admitted being mad at black guys who pimp out white girls because his prostitute girlfriend, Sherry Ann Ramos, had a black boyfriend that treated her badly.
Wow.
So and this girl was like, they were doing all sorts of drugs, and he was funding all sorts of like drug sales and all this shit to a prostitute, and then mad at the boyfriend. Unbelievable.
I mean, he got this sentence right, but he's an asshole.
Exactly.
What the fuck?
He admitted that cases like Hardbody made him very mad, and he wanted to give those people life.
Okay. Well, it makes me mad too, but for a different reason.
Exactly. Camp was eventually convicted of drugs and gun charges. He got 30 days in jail and 400 hours of community service.
Yeesh.
And the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals had denied Hardbody's. He had said that the judge was mentally incompetent at one point and asked for a rehearing on the sentencing, and they denied him on that. Well, now they reversed that decision and give him a rehearing on the judge because of this whole thing. They say that his claims of bias justify a hearing because this guy said
he's not wrong.
He fucking hates black guys.
That sucks.
Yeah, it's not great. So now, finally, December 2016, at this, we have an in their own words.
Oh, my God.
In their own words, sitting on the stand in federal court trying to say how wronged he's been.
Yeah.
He says, in their own words, quote, my hands was tied up like this from the beginning, not because I was a black man, but because I was a smart black man, an intelligent black man. I did not break the law.
Oh, my God.
You are full of shit. You did too break the law, motherfucker. But in December of 2016, the court finds that whatever the judge did, scummy or not, there was no racial bias in this sentencing.
Awesome.
Sentencing was correct. Anybody would have given him that sentence. You, sir, may still fuck off. Life in prison.
Life.
Eat shit. That's Hardbody Harrison. Stuck in prison. Go fuck yourself, asshole.
Good.
Whew, that's quite the story.
I was trimming my nails there for a minute.
Dude, I was
scared to death he was getting off. That was fucking horrible.
That's a tale and a half right there. That's wild. But yeah, that's a mess.
That's depressing.
That is depressing.
And what year was it that he got convicted?
2007.
Jesus.
So 2007. So
that happens today.
Yeah. Oh,
so
constantly.
Much.
Yeah. This is all the time.
I got friends that are cops that have told me about sex rings. And it's depressing, but to that level, that's fucking horrific,
fucking nuts, man. So
Jesus.
that's Hardbody Harrison. So go out and trust a wrestler, I guess.
Better yet, just love your daughters.
Yeah, love your daughters.
Because if they can get no women to do this thing, then it's over.
That's the thing. I mean? Yeah.
And granted, I believe that.
They should be allowed to if they want to.
I believe prostitution is a
victimless
crime.
But pimping isn't.
Right.
That's what it is.
That's the difference.
I would like if there was some some girl had her own, some woman had her own business where she was like, I'm going to go out and suck cock and make this much money and put it in my 401k.
Go nuts.
Do whatever you want.
Do
it's your body.
Thing, girl.
Go crazy.
Best of luck.
But if some guy's like, you're going to go out and suck cock and you're going to, then it's a different story.
And you're going to pay me money out of it.
That's not okay.
You, bro. You're a
shit.
terrible person.
That's a terrible person. So that's Hardbody Harrison. That is a mess of a story. Holy shit. Hope you enjoyed it.
Wow.
If you did, you can go on iTunes and give us 5 stars right now.
That'd be great.
Sign in. Guys, guess what? Small Town Murder or other podcasts that you should be listening to passed us in the fucking... They passed
We beat us.
We beat ourselves after 11 episodes.
In 11
like
weeks.
Guys... Fight them.
Holy
Let's get back, crime and sports movement. Let's do this. I know I already said that, but I want to reiterate,
Let's
goddammit.
beat them.
So
Let's beat those bastards, Jimmie and James.
It's us. Yeah. So anyway, give us 5 stars. Tell us your following instructions or whatever. If you really love us, please get on Patreon. Patreon.com/crime and sports. You can make a donation because we really don't make shit off of this show and off of either show.
And by the way, we funded our trip to Texas with that money.
Yes,
and
thank you.
Thank God we had that
because we wouldn't have been able to go.
No.
We would have been stuck and South by Southwest really kind of opened up some doors for us, so it was a big deal to go.
Some big things happened, some fun things happened.
So thank you guys.
It was an experience that James and I won't forget, that's for sure.
No, it's great.
And that experience happened because of you guys. So thank you so much for listening. Thank you for giving a shit. Thanks for enjoying this.
Yeah.
Because we have fun doing it, and we did 30 hours in a car.
Absolutely. And now that made us really want to do a bunch more live shows.
Yes.
So we're going to be doing we're going to be doing live shows here. The next 6 months are going to be lots. We're really going to get into the live show mix here pretty soon. But let's see here. We're going to do some shout-outs
Let's do that.
If you want to get a shout-out, like I said, iTunes reviews, Patreon will get us not only a shout-out, we'll love you, we'll come over, we'll jerk you off a little bit. We can't say that legally, but, in our hearts, we'll be jerking you off a little bit.
We'll be diddling you crazy.
We'll get that going. So please throw us a few bucks on there. If you want to make a one-time donation, you can go to on PayPal. We're crimeandsports@gmail.com. If you want to get a hold of us at all, you can email us at crimeandsports@gmail.com.
That's the one.
You can get us at Crime and Sports on Twitter, Crime and Sports, Facebook.com/Crime and Sports, at Crime and Sports on Instagram. You can't miss us. And here, Jimmy's going to tell us some of these fine people who have done just that this
week.
Have
done exactly that. Dan Boss, happy birthday, pal. We told you on our other podcast as well. But whatever, man. Happy birthday.
Love you, brother.
It's nice to fucking give you a ton of happy birthdays.
Double birthday.
Hope it's a great day. Seth Shoemaker, it's Kelsey Horn. She's fantastic. She tweets like a motherfucker, and it's hilarious. It's sweet.
Thank you. It helps us.
Michael Cole, Devon Menendez, at Savvy Raps. I don't know what that is, if he raps for real or not.
He raps presents up nice.
No, it's actually he raps.
Oh,
it's
cool.
Some dude named Savvy that raps.
Shit, send us your shit.
Kayla Clark, Dagmar Winzerling. That's it. I had to slow that one down. That was a lot of letters.
Good job.
Lisa Gilling, Gary Miller at MN Millers, Kyle in New Jersey at I love this handle so much. It's Crocodile Hunter. No, Kai. What did I just do? I'm so sorry.
That poor bastard.
Crocodile Hunter.
Kai, like Kyle.
Kyle,
okay.
right.
Okay. It's not.
I just called him a crocodile hunter.
And then a kike after that. You call him a crocodile and a kike because they're both bad.
What a dick I
am.
All right, whatever. I do like your handle, I swear.
Yes.
And Kevin Giancola, Biscuits, and at Waterboxer. And Jared Wilson. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you guys so much.
You guys are amazing. Thank you for interacting. Thank you for donating. Thank you for iTunes reviews.
It makes it all worthwhile.
It's fucking great.
Please, you can get a hold of us on social media. Jimmy, you want to give them yours?
At Whisman Sucks, WHISMAN Sucks on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. It's been such a great week.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Twitter was out of control this week. Instagram and Snapchat. It's so much fun. You guys are amazing. And it's all because of you guys. So thank you.
I'm at Jimmie P is funny. You can find me or get adventurous and try to spell my last name. It's in the show description. Knock yourselves out.
Best of luck.
Friend me, say hello, do whatever you want to do. But we'll be keeping coming back.
I can't wait.
Can't wait. Live from the Crime and Sports Studios. We will see you next